All right. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. That's right. A little less lag this time, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely, definitely will be much better. What's up, Fin fam? Let me get the fins up in the chat because we got a whole lot to talk about today. We got a whole lot to talk about today. The Discord lines are open. So hop on up here. Because we got a whole lot of Miami Dolphins football to talk about. And this fan base that we got right now, it's divided. It's super hella divided. And the Cat in the Hat is here. And I'm looking at this. I'm looking at it. And I'm wondering why. Why are we so divided? Because if you listen to both sides of the argument, you'll wonder the same thing. And I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna unite the fan base today. That's what we gotta do. We gotta unite this fan base. We got training camp underway. Next week, the veterans report. The week after that, all of us fans can start reporting. And we gotta make sure that we understand what's going on for the 2026 season, because the reason we're divided, it's crazy. It's crazy, especially if you start listening to both sides. And I need participation from you all today. I need to know what side of the fence you're on. Are you on the side of the fence where you're leaning towards the under, the Vegas under at 4.5 wins? Or are you on the other side of the fence where you're leaning towards the over at 4.5 wins? Let me know down in the chat below and tell me why. Or if you want to come up on the Discord, you're more than welcome to speak why you think the team is going to either do this or do that. Because there's no in between, really. I've talked to a lot of FinFan around the world, in my local area, in different areas, and I've heard one or the other. It hasn't really been an in between. It's either we're gonna go 4-13 or we're gonna go 13-4 kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because like I listen to both sides and I'm like, man, if only y'all could see what I'm seeing right now. If y'all could just sit back and see what I'm seeing right now, we wouldn't be arguing. None of us. This fan base wouldn't be divided. I was going to come up here and I was going to do my 32 team schedule prediction today, but I don't think this Dolphin conversation can wait. But I definitely need participation today. So you hit that like on the way in. First of all, please hit that like on the way in. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. But other than that, let me know. What side of the fence are you on? What's up, Joe? What's up, Joe? I know what side of the fence Joe's on. Joe isn't really high on this team, which is okay. That's one side of the fence that we're talking about. He's not real high. He's leaning towards the 4-13, 3-14 spectrum. A lot of it, I don't want to misquote you, man, but I'm pretty sure a lot of it is mainly because of all of the question marks on this team. If I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's mainly the question marks, right? Don't know. Like all these rookies, new head coach, new GM. If I'm remembering it correctly, that's where you stand. Like you just don't know what these guys are going to come out and do. I could be wrong though. But I feel like that was kind of what you landed on. the other day when I was over there. Yeah, we were all talking about it on Pete's Takes. Cause it's crazy, man. I sit back and I'm listening. All right, I'll let you explain it for yourself when you get up here. Cause I'm sitting back and I'm listening to both sides of the story, and I'm one of those. I'm one of those that like to be on the other side of the spectrum, right? Like I like to look at this team like we have a bunch of question marks, right? We do. We have a bunch of question marks. We have a bunch of 1 year deals, 43 to be exact. 43 1 year deals to be exact. New head coach, new GM, a whole bunch of what ifs. And I'm on that spectrum where it's like, what if they do great? We don't know. It's the question of whether they come in and actually do their jobs. What's up? What's up, Joe? So
Hey,
I
what's
hope
up?
I didn't get it wrong in what I was explaining about why you're on your side of the spectrum as far as the Dolphins season goes.
Yeah, it's partially right. I mean, I think it's we did talk about it the other day on Pete's stream, and there were a lot of different topics that were brought up by different people. I kind of agree with all of them. There for me, I said the lack of depth. If you lack depth, you're not going to make it anywhere in the season. Some people said, I think you might
Mm-hmm.
have said inexperience, which we have a lot of inexperience. And then we also have holes. So all three of those things, I think, just don't bode well for a good season this year. That's not to say I don't think we're in the headed. We have a trajectory started in the right direction. I think the coach could be good. I think, I hope that our offensive line can become something because we've invested in it over the last 2 years. If that can be stellar, um, then it's going to be a lot easier to build a functional team. So there's like the players we did keep around were the right players. We didn't keep any players around that we didn't need to, and we didn't make any free agency moves that we didn't need to. Um, so I see the right things happening. I'm not happy about the draft. I think we need to do better with the drafting, but I see the
And
light.
and that's
It's just not this year. And plus our schedule. If you took our team last year, um, and continued on and played this year's schedule with that team from last year, we would not be playing very well at all. And even though we replaced Tua, who was responsible for a lot of losses, we still
100% we
got
got
worse.
worse.
We lost a lot of
Um,
pieces.
but but that but that's why I
So
came up here today,
we'll see.
because of what you just said basically. Like we're heading in the right direction, right? We know as FinFan, like all I think that's where all of us are in agreement on, right? We all can agree that like the organization is headed in the right direction and we have a bright future. But we're sitting here and we're so divided on this season, and it shouldn't really matter. The outcome of this season shouldn't really matter, right? And we've talked about it a few times because if it turns out that it's a really bad season and we're drafting in the top 3 for a quarterback, it's because we know we need a quarterback. And if we're not, then we probably have our answer at quarterback. So this season doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like what matters is the future of the organization.
That's what I've been saying since day one. The moment we got Malik Willis, the only thing I've been saying is just don't let this be a season where we're undecided on him at the end of it. I really want us to have a clear direction on if he's the guy or if we're gonna roll the dice on a QB in this draft, in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
2027
I
draft.
think worst case scenario for the Miami Dolphins 2026 season is Malik Willis gets injured in like week 8 after looking pretty good through the first
Right,
7 weeks. Yeah, that's like worst case scenario.
right, right. Like if he's like 5-3 and then goes down,
Yeah.
what do we do then? If he's got decent stats to go along with that 5-3, it's okay. It's not anything stellar, but he was, you know, good enough to guide us to a winning record at the time. What is the team going to decide on him then? Instead of passing up on, say, you know, Manning or Moore or Mensa or Mestamaker, like any of these
Oh,
guys that are going to be in the
Yeah.
limelight.
What's up, Mr. Polk? Yeah, go
well,
ahead.
can I?
Yeah,
Hey,
Mr. Paul.
what's going on, Cat? I'm hoping that if they stick to the Green Bay Packers style of the way they draft quarterback, I'm hoping that they, because that we got Malik and we have Quinn Ewers, they'll go ahead if you can and get a quarterback because I mean that's the style that they've done for years, and I'm I know that now that they with the Dolphins they can go in another direction, but if I was them, because we got two quarterbacks that's unproven, I would go ahead and still try to set my eyes on the quarterback in this draft because we don't know I'm not unless y'all know I don't know what's going to happen in the draft afterwards. You understand what I'm saying? So it might be best to go ahead and still get a quarterback. Unless, like I said, unless Malik really balls out real well, or if something happens where he gets hurt or he's not playing where you put Quinn Ewers, then he blows up. We still need to try to go ahead and get a quarterback with this draft coming up.
No,
I
you're
mean,
you're
I could be
totally
wrong
right. You're
saying
you're
that.
definitely totally right, and I think Joe was actually talking about that last week when we were talking, and he was saying that like the quarterback should be pretty deep. So even if we don't get a top 5 pick, like maybe we're picking in the top 15, we could possibly still even trade
Right.
up, and it wouldn't cost the house,
Right. Moving up to like six or seven
and
wouldn't
still
cost that
Right.
much.
be
Exactly.
able to get a
What's up
guy.
going on, Joe?
Hey,
Yeah.
Mr. Paul.
But
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm.
what's crazy to me, guys?
Yeah.
Like really, like after sitting back for the last 2 months and like listening to both sides of the argument for the Dolphins, whether we're gonna go out and win 10 games or whether we're gonna be fighting for the number 1 pick, it's crazy because like all the arguments that I hear, man, both sides, we're arguing the same thing. We're literally making the same argument to make our point, and that's the question marks that are on this team, right? So if you're looking at it from the 4-win spectrum, the 4-win scenario, like you're looking like you don't know what these guys are going to do. It's all question marks. We don't know. There's 43 1-year deals. But the other guys are like, you don't know how they're going to come out here and
Mm-hmm.
perform. It's question marks. We don't know how they're going to come out here and perform. We're
Right.
literally arguing
Right.
with ourselves and using the same argument to 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 look at both sides when all reality this year doesn't matter. This year doesn't matter. The only way we go in and win in the Super
Mm-mm.
Bowl is if LA Rams get injured, we everything goes perfect for the Miami Dolphins and other teams suffer some injuries. So it's like we,
Exactly.
we, we got to look at the season and be like, yeah, there is a bunch of question marks. We could do well or we could do crappy. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as we're building this organization for the future so that we could hopefully have a dynasty, hopefully have sustained success for years to come, because I don't want to be one of those teams that are one and done, bro. That's not where we that's not where we want to be,
Exactly.
right?
Mm-mm.
Besides QB, if you're just looking at um this team and regardless of what happens this season, what are you wanting to have us address the most in next year's draft? Like what position do you think is pretty much draft no matter what?
Well, I go ahead,
You
Mr.
want,
Paul.
you
Let
want me
me
to?
get some
Oh,
time to
go
think
ahead.
about it.
Oh, no, 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 no. You
Well,
go ahead,
for
Cat.
me
No,
personally,
go ahead.
I want Jeff Hafley to be able to find his guy. Like I want him to find the guy on defense that he knows is going to be his guy, his franchise guy on that defense that's going to lead it. Whether he finds it, yeah, whether he finds it this year
Captain.
or finds it in the draft early next year, that's really I think the biggest key for the success here is for him to find a guy that he can really trust and consider the captain to help move this defense forward.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Um,
That's why I think it's safety.
with me, yeah, because with me it's the secondary
Mhm.
with the cornerbacks and with the safety. Because basically with the safeties, I only see, and I only see Trader as a possible, possibility of a starter. But only thing with Trader is this: we have a new defense
Yeah, it's a new
scheme in
regime.
place, so we got to
Yeah.
see if Trader's going to adjust to it. And with the cornerbacks, we got Marshall. We got Juju Brent, and then we got a couple. Got the rookies and a couple other guys there. We got to see how they're going to adjust to this new scheme. And then with the ends, that's my other concern is the ends because um, I'm not putting down Chop Robinson, but the thing is, which I mean, what do we have with Chop Robinson?
That's another question mark, bro. I
Because
mean, really, it is. It's another question mark. Like yes,
exactly.
he was getting used
What do we
wrong
have with
last year in some people's opinion, but is
him?
Jeff Hafley gonna be
Hmm.
is Jeff Hafley gonna be the coach to notice that and change it, and figure out ways to make him better. And that's why I like
Exactly.
that. That's why I like this season. Like this season's gonna be fun for me because like I'm gonna be keeping a close eye on Jeff Hafley, just like last year I was keeping a close eye on Mike McDaniel, and it's gonna be very apparent for
Hmm.
us to know how well the coaching is because some of
Hmm.
these players have like they were used wrong last year, like Ollie Gordon and Chop Robinson. They were used wrong last year,
Hmm.
so it's a
Yeah.
very easy
Yeah.
tell for us to be able to know if Coach Hafley, for one, as a head coach, can notice that, spot that, fix it, and make it better. And like
Hmm.
exactly what I was talking about with Chris Johnson the other day. And like this is an opportunity for Jeff
Hmm.
Hafley to watch the film, notice like okay he gets beat off the line and he has to recover on catch up speed, and hopefully Jeff Hafley can either coach him out of that
Hmm.
or just not put him in those positions altogether. So that's what I'm going to be looking at this year. Like super hardcore is watching Jeff Hafley and how he's coaching these players because he's got the opportunity to really show that he can be a good coach or he can be a bad coach.
Yeah.
Furthermore, I'd say if he can teach Chris Johnson, because he has that recovery speed, if he could teach him to almost bait the
That
quarterback to
would be,
throwing it at receivers with
bro.
just giving like a
That's
minimal
even
amount of
better.
space. That's what some of the greatest DBs with when it comes to interceptions. That's what they've been able to do is know that they have that closing speed to kind of lure
And
the pass.
I'm gonna talk about the salary cap situation. It's like I don't really agree with
Hmm.
a lot of people often sometimes. But salary cap, it's just a number, man. It's just like age, bro. It's just a number. Salary cap doesn't necessarily mean anything because you could pay somebody $60 million a year and then perform like they're worth 5 million. Like
Hmm.
how much were we paying Tua last year? Was he worth the contract he was making? Salary
Right.
cap is just a
It's
number and it's inflated every single year because the salary cap increases every single year due to media contracts, due to Taylor Swift showing up at games. Like all of these factors raise the salary cap.
Hmm.
It's
yeah.
just a number. It doesn't mean nothing when you're talking about real raw talent on the field. Like I went through and I went and did that 20-0. I went and did that.
Well,
Hold
it
on. I'll
does
let you
it
go in a
it
second. I went and did that 20-0 challenge, and I did it in the salary cap manager. I built a 16-4 team, and I still had $56 million left to play with.
Hmm.
Just saying,
Yeah.
salary cap isn't always everything.
I'd say that yeah, the salary cap does a good job at balancing teams, making sure that one team can't, fall behind the rest of them. But how like every team has the opportunity to dance through the future like some of them do with renegotiating deals and moving things around. That's, completely up to each team, but it does do a good job at making sure you don't have large imbalances due to, owner richness, or market.
Hmm. Well, I'm gonna say this, and this gonna be a little controversial, believe it or not. But um, when Chris Greer became our general manager, at the time we were in cap hell, and he I don't know, I I got to give credit where credit due. He sort of flipped things around. He at and when how should I put it? When the season started, I think we had what 3 first-round picks and some other picks, along with a salary cap that wasn't too bad. The only thing I criticize him on is that he wasted the good things. The good things he did, he's like he went back and destroyed it in some ways. So what I'm trying to say is just y'all pretty much saying the same thing. With a salary cap, depending on who deals with it, you can sort of flex it out. You can sort of flex it out where and I mean y'all just said it right then and there. You can flex it out where you can go and get your player and pay him this amount of money and what have you, and then kind of how should I say, ride with the waves the next couple of seasons and bouncing out and what have you. So it's not I agree with what y'all saying. The cap when you're in cap hell, it's not the end. It's not the end of the world. It can always be. You can always be fixed. It can always be
Well, let me ask
maneuvered
y'all this:
and what
like,
have you.
how many wins? Like, how many wins do you think we would need to get in order for it to mean that the salary cap didn't matter? Above 500, 10 wins, 9 wins. I mean, because I think anything below 7, you can.
I'd say better. I'd say
So
an
then that would have
improvement
to
from
be
last
8 or
year.
more wins, right? So at least
Right,
500.
right.
We say at least 500, and we can say that salary cap don't mean shit, right? But anything under that, then we can.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're looking at like, barring that injuries aren't like a massive part of it. Yeah.
And
Like for
let's
example, if we face a team where, like, let's say we go at maybe the Bengals are a bad example because they have Flacco, right? But let's say we go and who are we gonna play? Actually, we're
Green
playing a lot
Bay
of teams
late.
with decent backups. If you think about it on our calendar, there's a lot. Let's say we play Buffalo, right? And maybe Josh Allen hopefully has a knee injury that takes him out for the year. And both times we play Buffalo, right? We beat them. Those 2 wins, we know damn well that they're probably not happening if Josh Allen was there. So like, that's what I mean by like barring like injuries that we would face and things like that. Like, and also the quality of the win.
yeah.
Like if we're still not beating good teams, that's the biggest issue. A lot of
That's the
people forget
problem.
about that. Like our last 4 years, it wasn't necessarily like the amount of losses, or individual things. It was like we never showed up against a good team, or even like a 500 team.
Yeah.
It was very rare that we would beat those. And there's a lot of, I mean, it happens to a lot of teams. The Chargers were like that too
Cowboys.
during that same time period. They were never beating a team that was a playoff team
And at the end of the day,
or in the
that's
playoffs.
kind of really all I'm looking forward to. Like all I'm looking for this year is like I want to see us compete against these tough teams, right? We don't necessarily have to win these games, but don't let it be blowouts. Let's
Right.
score more than 14 points. Like
Right.
last year, it was a struggle for us to score 2 touchdowns. It was bad. Like we were getting beat by the Cleveland Browns. What was it, 30 to 10? Like I don't even want to. I put that game out of my memory, bro. Like I just know it was that bad, and that's not a good team.
I'm actually going to be missing a few games this year.
You gonna be overseas?
I think I missed that Browns one.
What, last year?
That was Quinn. Yeah, that
was it Quinn Ewers?
Was that the Quinn Ewers game? Is that when he came in? I thought didn't he come in,
bro? Honestly,
during the Browns game?
a lot of last year
Since the last
I've
three.
like pushed out of my memory. It was such bad football last year. I've like pushed a lot of it out of my memory. I'm not even gonna lie, man.
Let me see now. I'm gonna miss. I think it's like week 3. Like from week 3 to week 6. I think I'm missing. Yeah, I'm gonna be flying on. Am I gonna be flying? Oh no, I'm gonna be on a mountain during the East game. Yeah, week 3. I'm missing the Vikings game because I'm gonna be in China. Missing the Bengals game because I'm gonna be in China. Yeah, missing 3 games this year.
Well, I'll catch you up, man. I'll let you know what happens.
And watch us turn it around in those 3 games, and I'm gonna be getting called out on all these channels, like how negative I was.
And we're gonna be
And
telling
I
you to
won't even be
stay
able to
away
defend
too, because
myself.
you're gonna be like, oh look, Joe was gone and they had
Right,
success. Stay
right.
away, stay away. Go back to China.
Yeah, they're like, "Stay in China, Joe." Yeah.
Oh, that's good shit.
But my thing is this, I'm gonna say it like this because that one of the things I enjoy when I first got on YouTube is going around to the different platforms and what have you, and everybody runs their platform their own way. And at the end of the day, you know, um, everybody sees the Dolphins through their own eyes. So what I'm trying to say is that um, the fans, as fans, we need to learn to respect each podcast. If you come to a podcast that you're not happy with, go find a podcast that you're interested in. You don't have to stick around and be a menace and what have you. And this is, I mean, this is to any and everybody, including myself, because that's the thing I had to learn at first. Because when I went on a podcast a couple of years back, I didn't like what I was. So instead of being a menace and what have you, I went and found a podcast that had my interest. Now I'm not saying this directly to anybody. I'm just saying respect all the Dolphin podcasts, because if some people realize what I went through as a kid, being a Miami Dolphin fan, 'cause I was a Miami Dolphin fan as soon as I was walking and talking, because the Dolphins came around the same time I did, and what have you, and to go be able to pick up the newspaper and try to see if you get information about the Miami Dolphins in the newspaper, or watch the whole news and wait till they get to the sports to see, be able to try to get any kind of information, man, you'll learn to appreciate Dolphin podcasts here on YouTube. So I say this to all the fans: have respect for each other, have respect for whoever runs the
And that's
podcasts
kind of
and what have you. And I'm gonna say this to you, Joe. Joe, you don't change the way you are, man, because um everybody, to me, everybody kind of brings something um to the Dolphins community, and you do as well. Cat, you do Pete, Pete, Blitz Pickup, or I can go down the list. Each of them brings something to
Yeah,
and
the
it's like
that's
Dolphin
cable TV.
community. Yeah, I mean, everybody brings something to it. So we all have our fault also, but don't what's the word? Don't lower it out of proportion. Don't try to shove ideas down people's throat when they're not going to accept it. That's all I can say. And it's not direct towards nobody. It's just the whole Dolphin community. And I'm gonna say this also: we have a big community, because I'm tell you the truth. I'm willing to. I'm not gonna say bet. I shouldn't say I'm willing to bet, but I'm quite sure the Miami Dolphin podcast is the biggest on YouTube right now. If not, it should be close to it, and that's something to
and
be
that's
proud of.
exactly why I came up here for this stream today, Mr. Paul, because it's like I look at these streams and I see the division not only between the streams and the different podcasters, but between the fan bases, and it's like it doesn't really make sense that we're sitting here arguing with each other and we're literally using the same argument to make our case, but we're using it and to make a case for the separate side. When at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. All of us podcasters, all of us fans, we all want the same thing. We want this team to move forward and be a team that can be talked about for generations. We want to get back to being the winningest team in the NFL. You know, we were the winningest team in the NFL for the longest time until the Patriots took that over. We want to get back to that. And that's what Jeff Hafley and Sully are trying to bring in. They're trying to bring in that Don Shula mindset. That's why you see the new overlay we got for the Dolphins talk, bro. We got the Don Shula. We got the perfect season going on. The only one to go 17-0. You know what I mean? Like all the history that the Miami Dolphins have. Let's make some more. Yes. Some of us think that we're going to go 4-13, and some of us think that we're going to go 10-7 and make the playoffs. But at the same time, we're both using the exact same argument to make our case.
Yeah. And then I want to say something too about the season coming up. And I've left receipts on different podcasts. Hey, this season coming up, I'm supposed to sit back and I'm supposed to enjoy it because I'm supposed to watch our general manager and our head coach put their thumbprint on our team. I'm gonna watch these players and see some of them develop, see some of them adjust to the scheme. I want to see some surprise me and what have you, ball out, and just enjoy football. Period. I love football. Period. And like I said, Miami Dolphins are my team. But once our season is over with, I'm still watching the NFL. I'm still watching college football, Canadian football, UFL football. Because I just enjoy football. Period.
All right, no worries.
I got a phone call. I'm going on mute.
I've got two questions related to your topic here. The first one is obviously we've seen. I'll give some context. We've seen a lot of division lately. The whole Tua era was defined by fan division, and we still see it today, even in a post-Tua world and post-Greer, Press McDaniel, all that is gone, and we still see division. When was the last time that you think all of the Dolphins fans, or the large majority of Dolphins fans, were on the same page about the team?
I think it was right before Tua. Like I think like the year when Brian Flores, like he came in. Yeah, I think when he came in, I feel like everybody was
and exceeded the
in
expectation.
unison with that. But then that next year where we drafted Tua and things started going south, that's where the division started happening, because you had like people that weren't on the side with Tua and people that were on the side with Tua. But yeah, I mean, before that, it wasn't too bad. I'm pretty new to the community because like I've had to work a lot through the years to build my family and get to a position to where like I don't have to work 120 hours a week in order for my kids to eat. So like I can't really speak on that in a sense because I haven't been around the community.
I think you still could. I think you still could, because like if you go to games or you go to like a sports bar or something and you're just talking to Dolphins fans, maybe it's not up here, right? But you can still get a sense for, if people like or hate a QB, or if, they're tired of the coach, that kind of stuff. That kind of leads to my second question is, when in the past, before all this online stuff was even going on, which is phenomenal because we never had access to Dolphins news, especially for me living out of state. But when in the past, like, say the 2000s, the 90s, even 80s, when do you think the fans were divided like they were when we had Tua, or even recently? Like, is there a time, back in the day that you can remember people were 50-50 on the team, the coach, the QB, the direction it was going, the ownership?
You're talking about the fans, right?
Yeah. Can you guys think of like a time in our team's past where we were also divided like we have been with Tua and even today?
I would think maybe
Like,
I, I can.
were there years where maybe some fans are ready to give up on Marino, for example, and move on to the next thing, or maybe they were thinking Jimmy Johnson had outstayed his welcome, or what like are there any times that you guys can think of in the past that people were pretty like polarized on?
That would definitely be
Um,
for you, Mr. Paul, because
with
my,
me,
my football fandom started in the early 2000s. I was super young, and I was also living out of state at the time as well, and had like no
Yeah,
internet access,
same with
things
me.
like that. So it was like it's tough for me to be able to talk on that. But I would say that yeah, I would feel like at a certain point towards the end of Marino's career, there were probably some fans out there that were like, it's time to move on. I could definitely see that.
mhm, yeah, and that that was one of them. But the thing is, it wasn't. How should I put it? With the end of the era for Dan Marino, it wasn't as what's the word? It wasn't as divided. Well, let's say it was divided, but it was divided where it wasn't so bad where people were fighting and
I
arguing
got
and what have you with each other. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah, no,
everybody
something just
no
came
go
into
ahead.
my mind because I hear people talk about it all the time nowadays with the Dan Marino era, right? And they always there's a lot of people that say that they never put a defense around Dan Marino. So I look at that like during that time was there people that were like, oh, he didn't need a defense, and or was and because we already know that there were people on the side that were saying like they didn't put a defense around him. Was that could that have been a time of division?
That it could have um it could have, but I think the biggest division with Dan Marino is that with that he didn't make it to the Super Bowl. Um, I will say the defense wasn't all that back in the day, but um, when he didn't make it to the Super Bowl when at the peak of his career. I think that might have been the uh, kind of the thing that kind of had the fans split it, and then also just to see him fall off the way he did. Um, and then moving forward when we had the situation with oh what's his name uh goodness the
Was it another quarterback?
oh no it's not the quarterback, it's the controversy where we had the two offensive linemen
Oh, the bully gate thing you're talking
the
about.
bully gate, yeah. I I'm gonna be straight with y'all. The bully gate to me
That's a good
was
point.
the biggest one, was
That's a
the
good
biggest
point, man.
controversy.
Yeah,
Okay.
people were somewhat divided on that.
Yeah, because you had people who were going on with a Canito, and then
Yeah,
you had
Richie
people going
Incognito and Jonathan Martin.
in right in Jonathan Mott. So that right there split. And I mean it got pretty bad. I mean it got
Right.
pretty bad. And then I would say after that, yeah, the tour era. Now some people may not agree with it, but that's what I've seen with my eyes as far as the the fan base being split. But the if I had to compare the Willigate and then
Oh, Tua
the
era was
tour
super
era is more
toxic.
toxic.
Right.
And I was about to make a
It's more
Right.
toxic
comparison,
than the
like
Bulligate.
for the Tua
Yeah.
era division compared to the division that we have going into 2026 season. It's completely different types of division, because yes, the Tua division was completely a toxic
Mhm.
relationship between Fin fans. Like one, you're either on the side or you're not on the side, and you were really hard pressed in your standings on which side you were standing on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like right now, the division that's going on with the Dolphins, it's unnecessary, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. Because, like I said, man, we're making the same argument. We're literally using the same things to make the same argument.
Right.
Well, okay, I'm gonna say this to me, and this gonna sound crazy. It's actually the tour thing to me. It's the tour era that's actually spilling over. I think some of it
Right.
is still tied to the tour era.
Right.
What
It's
we
like the
do,
habits won't die.
right? And I understand what you're saying because it's still the tour era, but just like you said, it's sort of going in a different direction, and what have you, and and I agree with it's sad because tour's gone now, but it's like the situation still it's like it's still like he's still here. It's like the ghost of tour is still here
And
with the
it's not
Miami
just Tua.
Dolphins and what have you. So
It's not
He's
just
gone
Tua
in the
either.
locker
It's
room.
Chris Greer. Chris Greer's gone as well.
mhm.
Like 26 years he was in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and his
There's
ghost
got
is
to be a
still
coincidence
right.
there why we haven't won a playoff game in 26 years. Maybe it was Chris Greer.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So those two ghosts are still walking in walking the halls of the Dolphin community. They still walking around.
And that's what.
So that's
No, I was just gonna say
that's
that's
why.
why I came up with the
No, go ahead.
Miami Syndrome. Like you're the Dolphins have done it wrong for so long that it's hard
Hmm.
to just sit here and believe that it's just gonna turn around like that. You gotta see it, right? You gotta see it. You can't just believe what they say anymore because we've done it wrong for so long and we've lied to the fan base for so long that we got a sickness. We got that Syndrome, that Miami Syndrome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm hoping because you mentioned it, and I'm glad you mentioned the word because I was trying to say it on another platform of the word is dynasty. That's what I want to see. It's not to me. It's not just a Super Bowl, just like with the Commanders, just like with the Texans. I don't want just a Super Bowl and the next year we drop off. I want a dynasty. And you mentioned the word. It was either you, Cat, or Joe, or both of y'all mentioned the word dynasty. That's what I want to see. A dynasty. I mean, I may sound greedy, but that's what I want to see. But the thing is, it's going to take time. It's going to take if we want a dynasty, it's going to take time to
You
get
got to build that
everything.
house.
Right, exactly.
And that's why I lean on the less win side, even though I remain positive. It's like you're having a house built, and then you go to check it out, within the first week,
Yeah,
and you're
and
like, hey, I can't live under this.
no,
It
and that's
doesn't mean
funny
I'm
that you
not
say
going to be
that
able
because
to in the
like this whole
future.
off season, like that's kind of what I use to reference what we've been doing. We've been rebuilding a house, like, and this time we did it right, right? We took it all the way down
Yeah.
to the foundation. We took it all the
Yeah,
way
you
down
got to
to
get
the
the plans, you
foundation.
got to get the
How the Miami
foundation.
Dolphins have been doing
Mm-hmm.
it before. Oh, we got a roof leak. All right, well let's just throw some tape on that and patch it up for right now. We got a hole in the wall.
There you
All right,
go.
I'm just gonna tape a. I'm gonna tape a piece of
Oh,
paper
we didn't
over
have
the
a
hole in the
blueprint
wall. You
either.
know what I mean? No, we tore the whole thing down, took it all the
Mm-hmm.
way down to the
Mm-hmm.
foundation. We had cracks in the foundation. You know what we did with that bitch? We tore that slab out. And we put a whole brand new slab in, and we put trusses up. We put the 2x4s up.
Mm-hmm.
We put the trusses on. Everything. We tore it down to the bare minimum, and this year the 2026 season is going to be like your punch out list, right?
Well,
When you have the house done, right? But you got that punch out list. You got to go through and you got to fine tune everything. That's what the 2026 season's about. Is knocking out that punch out list.
yeah, right. And none of it matters if they didn't have a proper blueprint. So that's what we got to hope that Sullivan and Hafley
Exactly.
have put together. and not
Yeah.
get us into a scenario where we
Yeah,
don't
no,
have a proper
100%.
roof, right? Or
And I
we
think that's
didn't think
probably
out the
like,
layout.
yeah, that's a worry in the back of all of our minds. But we look at the Green Bay blueprint, and we kind of have seen success with the Green Bay blueprint, right? They might not have gotten over the hump as often as we would like, but they're always relevant, right? They're always in the playoffs. They're always like a contender. They just haven't been able to get over that hump. So it's like the blueprint for success is there. It's
Yeah,
over there in Green Bay. They just haven't been able
Mm-hmm.
to actually take it to the next step and achieve that success. Well, that doesn't mean that
Mm-hmm.
Sully can't use that blueprint and take it to the next step and achieve that success. Maybe that was why he was like, "Oh, it's time for me to get out of Green Bay." But I'm not gonna lie, that's one thing that does worry me about Sully, right? Because yes, he's been in Green Bay his whole career, right? He's been in Green Bay his whole 21-year career,
Mm-hmm.
but that also can hurt you because you haven't been elsewhere. You haven't seen how it's done elsewhere. So it's like you only know how yeah, you
right.
only
He's been
know
hanging
how
out
it's
with Aaron
done one
Rodgers for
way.
most
You
of it.
haven't seen like the other ways that it could be getting done. So it's like you don't
Mm-hmm.
really know how to compare. It's like, oh, is this the best way to
Right.
do it? No,
Yeah,
this is where the learning curve is going to come in. He's gonna make mistakes.
right. He's never really floated through like a true
Uh-huh.
QB
Exactly.
battle or search, right? They've had each guy they've got has
Exactly.
been able
So
to
it's
sit
like that's the
behind the
one
next
thing
one.
that's going to hurt him is cuz he is going to have to like make some moves and make some mistakes in order to learn from them because he hasn't been in different organizations to see that happening. And that's that like it's kind of weird, right? Because like
Mm-hmm.
I when I was like hiring people for jobs when I was managing restaurants and stuff, like that's one of the things that I would look at is like I would look at their job history and it's like okay, how long are you spending at each time? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like it could be good, but it could also be bad too. So it's like if you're sitting there and let's say you're spending a year at each place, I feel like that's good because like you're going to that place, you're like learning everything, you're getting a feel of how things are going. But if you're only spending a month at each place, then obviously that's a problem that you have, and you can't just keep a job. You know what I'm saying? But like being able to move around a little bit
Mm-hmm.
to gain experience and learn how others do things helps you do your job better because like that's kind of how I also write articles too. Like I'll go and I'll read 10 different articles, right? And I'll take all of them and I'll look for common denominators and I'll read
Uh-huh.
articles and like I'll look for things like oh only this person said this so maybe I won't hang on to that fact too much but like everyone said this so it's like we're going to move this over here and we're definitely going to consider that, you know, so
Mm-hmm.
that's my one worry with Sully this year is like when it comes to the ebbs and flows, how is he going to be able to adapt and evolve?
If this works out, watch this become a trend of the league. They're already doing it in college, right? Where coaches will go to another team, and a whole bunch of their players will follow, and also the recruits will follow. So if it's successful with us pulling a whole bunch of coaches, the GM, even the QB from a team, and it worked out for a rebuild, watch that become a trend that other teams start trying to clone. Where they say, hey,
Yeah.
let's go try and get all the assistants on the on the Chiefs or the Eagles or something like a team that has been good year in and
Well,
year out the
we
last few years.
we got the
Mm-hmm.
Rams,
Rams
I would
like
probably do
starting
that on
to
the
do the
Rams.
Green Bay thing right now. That's why they drafted Ty Simpson. Gonna try and sit Ty Simpson behind Matthew Stafford for the next year or two, hopefully.
Right.
Oh,
The Rams, I think that's such a smart move
brilliant.
because the Rams aren't sniffing a draft
Brilliant
pick
move
up
by
that
the
high
Rams.
for a while.
You thought Ty Simpson was the guy.
Yeah,
Nobody was
that's the closest
expecting the
they're getting
Rams
to the
to go
top
out and
10
get
for
Ty
the next
Simpson
3
either. So
years.
it surprised everybody. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Because I guarantee you the Jets
yeah,
would have eyeballed him with their second pick if he would have been there instead of Kenyon Sadiq.
yeah. It was a very smart move by the
I
Rams,
feel it.
even though they didn't need the position. They're clearly capable of making win now moves on
Yeah,
their own with the
and
free agency.
Aaron Donald probably going to end up starting for the Rams this year, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be a scary.
I'm an Aaron Donald hater,
No.
Well, he's most
So I
likely
don't,
coming, bro. And I'm telling you, man, I hate to admit this, but if they get Aaron
I think he's
Donald,
on performance enhancing drugs. I think he found something that's not detected by the league.
the Rams.
That's not, you look at that man. It's not
Rams
natural.
Could
Not natty.
actually
There's no way.
fight for what we have. What we have going
Looking
on
at a
over
wrestler.
there. I hate to say it, but they have a schedule. They have a favorable schedule to where they could easily. Ah, man, I don't want to say it. I'm not saying it. Dolphins are the only ones to have a perfect season. The Dolphins are the only ones to have a perfect season. No one else is ever going to get it.
Oh, you're saying you think the Rams could actually pull off a 17-0 and then win the Super Bowl on top of it? I don't know. That division's hard enough, though, to where I think either the Niners or the Seahawks could try to squeak out a win when they're at home.
I'm definitely but I'm not real high on the Seahawks this year, and they just lost not Kenneth Walker, but they just lost Charbonnet.
Yeah. And keep in mind, like, Stafford's not a spring chicken, so if Stafford gets dinged up the wrong way, that could have a huge detriment to their season.
All I know is.
He's getting old. I mean, he's only got 1 or 2 left in the tank. I think if they win the Super Bowl this year, he might ride into the sunset.
More to be in that GOAT conversation. Because think about it right now. Like, if Matthew Stafford were to win the next 2 Super Bowls, he would surpass Patrick Mahomes right now. He would be ahead of Patrick Mahomes. If he went and won the next 2 Super Bowls, like back-to-back, he would be ahead of Patrick Mahomes as far as that quarterback conversation goes. Now, granted, his career is not long.
I still think Mahomes is going to see a Super Bowl. Maybe not win one, but I think we'll see another.
For sure. He's definitely going to sniff a couple more, and that's where I was going to say, like, what
might happen this year.
Yeah.
I told y'all last offseason. I told y'all last offseason the Patriots or the Chiefs weren't making the playoffs. I put my money on it. Did y'all?
Oh, how nice would that be to see Mahomes take out Allen in the AFC Championship? Well, I'd be the biggest Chiefs fan that day.
Well, tell you the truth, when I look at last season with Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and what have you, to me, I seen 3 of the top teams in the NFL start to regress and what have you. And it to me, it's just a reminder that, teams that are like that are not going to be around for long. And what happened, I'm not wishing nothing bad on no teams, but this is how the NFL is, The Josh Allen, the Lamar Jacksons, the Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you talking about top quarterbacks in the NFL, but as time goes by, like I said, they start regressing. The age starts catching up with them, along with other things.
I actually have a question regarding. I actually have a question regarding
That's
Patrick
a good
Mahomes,
topic
right?
there.
Like, because how much longer does Andy Reid have? And is Patrick Mahomes exactly
right? And what does Mahomes look like without Reid at the home?
Without Reid, right? Because
and without Travis Kelce, because he's probably only got 1.
Actually, like, I talked to my KC guy this week, and he said most likely that this is going to be Travis Kelce's last year because he's going to be in that G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah,
I do think that the 100%. Chiefs are a very well-run organization, though.
I think,
so if in the absence
you get
of
rid of Reid,
I would not. I would say that they would be likely to still bring in
Reid, and I think that's probably why Spagnuolo is still there, right? Because, like, if you get rid of Reid, you're probably looking at Spagnuolo as your guy to just go ahead and keep it rolling because he's been there the longest. He's worked with Reid, so he should it should just be an easy transition. But
Mhm.
if you have to bring in somebody,
Mhm.
I mean, you pick who you want if you're the Chiefs too. Like at that point, like anyone on the head coach market,
yeah, but does that
they
mean
want
that it's
them,
going to
they
be
have
the
them.
right choice?
But yeah, they already have them probably with
I
Spag.
think that would probably be their best choice. But is Spag still going to be there in 4 years when Andy Reid decides to hang it up?
Right.
Ooh, right.
Well,
Mhm.
Mr. Pollock brings up a great. I think it probably could be its own show. But like, what of those? There's a lot of superstar QBs in the AFC specifically. Um, compared to the NFC. Of all of those, you got Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson, Herbert, all those guys. Out of all those, and you could probably throw in the NFC ones too. Out of all those superstar QBs that we're used to seeing year in, year out, which one either continues to regress this year or starts to show significant regression?
I,
Yeah, because that believe it or not, Joe, that's what I've seen last season. And again, I'm not putting these quarterbacks down because I got respect for all of them. But that's what I seen last season, and it's like it screamed out to me. But I said, well, maybe it's my eyes are playing
I
tricks on me.
think I think
Nah, but go ahead.
Josh Allen's is going to be way more evident this year. There's going to be a lot more eyes on Josh Allen this year, so his
Hmm.
when he messes up, it's going to be what's the word I'm looking for? Expounded upon. To whereas if he were to mess up last year, because now Sean McDermott's gone,
Hmm.
so that's kind of like, all right, this factor is out of the way, so now it's like, who else do we put the blame on? So I feel like there's going to be a much bigger microscope on Josh Allen and every decision that he makes. So you're going to see him make those dumb decisions like what he made in the Bronco game
Hmm.
last year, and it's going to be much more big of a problem than it was, because you talk to all the Buffalo fans, like they don't really blame too much on Josh Allen for those fumbles and
Right. They
right,
don't
you know
have
what
that
I'm saying?
division
They're
that we
like,
were talking
oh,
about.
we got rid of McDermott. He was the problem. He caused Josh Allen to make he caused Josh Allen to run around in the pocket holding the football with one hand in his left hand. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So I think that the spotlight's going to be on
Hmm.
Josh Allen definitely a lot more this year. And Drake May too, but he's a young guy, so he's out of the question here.
Good point.
Sam Darnold is going to be
Hmm.
one that we're going to look at because he's had two good
Hmm.
years. Went to the Super Bowl last year. Already lost his MVP running
Hmm.
back, and now his backup running back from last year is injured. So he's going to be running with a rookie running back. So I think we're going to be looking at Sam Darnold to see if he's really the guy, right? Or if it was just the pieces.
Or if it was
Hmm.
that
Correct.
offensive coordinator that's now with
Correct.
the
And then Kirk
Raiders,
Cousins could
Kubiak's
be another
offense.
example, right? Now that you want to slide straight into the Clint Kubiak going over to the Raiders. Kirk Cousins most likely is going to get the start over there in the Raiders if you were a wise businessman like Tom Brady should be. He's not going to start Fernando Mendoza week one. He's going to give him some time to develop. You have a guy like Kirk Cousins. There's no reason to start Mendoza week one. So we might get to see Kirk Cousins either come back to the
Hmm.
form that he was in the Minnesota days, or we might see a lot of regression from Kirk Cousins to where you end up seeing Mendoza in there as early as week 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I wouldn't count Cousins in that echelon though of like stars that we're used to seeing like crush it year
Yeah,
in, year out.
consistent. He's
He's
been a
had a good
consistent
career
guy.
though. Don't get me wrong, but like yeah. But I, I think the Raiders, like if they were in any other division, we'd be talking about them a lot more. It's just the fact that they're in that crowded division with the Chargers seemingly powerful, constantly retooling to bring new things in. And I mean, I think that Mike McDaniel in an offensive coordinator role is going to have a much easier, way less pressure on him, is going to yield a better product of what
Yeah.
we thought we were going to get out of McDaniel. Um, So I think that's going to be, and for him to be able to work with a guy like Herbert, where he doesn't have to worry about the QB dying every play, I think is a benefit from an offensive planning perspective. Right, you don't have to try to work around that. So I think, that division, I still think the Chiefs are going to bounce back, and then the Broncos are obviously steam train right now. So that's tough for the Raiders, right? But if you plopped them into the AFC South or the AFC North, I think we'd be having a lot more conversations about them.
Right, like if they
and
had
their
to,
future.
like if they had to fight the Texans instead of like in that division.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Texans are a tricky one, right? Like if they can have anything relevant go on at QB, they're going to
CJ
be
Stroud literally just
they're gonna
don't
be a problem.
throw the game away. Like literally, all you have to do is
You know what?
be efficient.
That's probably the name, right? CJ Stroud, he's got the hottest seat of them all right now, I think. If he can't get them at least to the AFC Championship with that caliber of a defense, people are going to be ready to toss him out like he's
that's why they didn't
bad
sign the
leftovers.
extension, right? That's why they did it with who was it, Will Anderson instead, and Daniil Hunter. I did read an article that it looks like he might get an extension before training camp's over with, but I mean, if the Houston Texans were smart.
Oh, are they in the? They're kind of in
that's why you look
in
at
the
the
spot
Dolphins
that we
as
were
an
within with
example,
Tua,
and it's
right?
like CJ Stroud can't be mad if the Houston Texans come to him and be like, bro, we're gonna play you on this 5th year.
Right.
And you got to prove it, because I mean, at the end of the day, he was the reason that they weren't playing in the AFC Championship. It was all on him.
Right. You can't really fix that issue either of folding under pressure. That's something that you can't really.
Come back. You have to work your way back. You have to go out there in 2026, and you have to prove that you can overcome the adversity, and you can go out there. And you're going to have to show us that we can rely on you to help get us wins, not lose the game. You know what I mean? We don't want a QB. Yes, we have a defense that can go win a Super Bowl. All we need is a QB to not lose the game. But we're not looking for that. We're looking for a QB that can at least help us win a few of these games. Because it can't be all on the defense.
Right.
Because to me, that's been our problem for the past 4 or 5 years, where our defense, and I'm going to say it, our defense in the last few seasons really kept us in some good games. But it's
even
just
last
that
year, Mr. Paul, last year our defense put us in some good spots.
I would put some on too. Right, and it's just that the offense couldn't come to, couldn't come and they couldn't do their thing. They couldn't put us over and what have you. And you just can't, use field goals to do it. You got to put points on there. And my thing is to, I'm gonna say it again. I'm being greedy. I want our offense to be like a smash mouth. I want us to put fear in teams that we're going to play. And again, I know it's not going to happen right away, but that's what I want to see with our team. I don't want to just be getting by. The thing that really burns me up is just getting by. I want to see more than that. What's up, Pete?
Hey, Pete.
What's up?
You guys hear me already? Did I come in already?
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Fins up.
How you doing today?
Fins up, Pete.
Nothing much. I just downloaded this app.
You got it on your phone?
Hopefully it's working correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got it on my phone.
You got someone on the other side of the fence now, Cat.
There's
what's the topic? What happened?
And the Dolphin fan base, bro, and the division is unconstituted, because we're all making this.
That was gonna be my next stream, Cat. The next stream was gonna be called. I'll give you guys the title. It's gonna be called Mr. Positives versus Mr. Negatives, because I am so tired of the negativity in the fan base.
I'm trying to unite the fan base, because if you look at it, Pete, if you've been paying attention, right, and listening to all the arguments each side makes, right? The side for the 4-13, the side for the 10-7. We're all making the same argument, right? We're using the exact same things to make our argument. The question marks. On the 4-13 side, we're sitting here arguing, oh, we have 43 one-year deals. We don't know how they're going to turn out. We have a new head coach. We have a new GM. We have all these question marks on the team. Inexperience. We don't know how it's going to turn out. So it's a 4-13 team. But on the other side, here we are. We're saying, bro, we got 43 one-year deals that are chasing carrots. We got a new head coach that's bringing in a new culture. We got a whole bunch of questions. You don't know how these guys are going to perform. They're going to come out here and they're going to light it up, and we're going to go 10-7. We're both sides. Both sides are using
Facts,
the
Cat.
same argument.
You know what I'm going to tell you how I know you're right and how we're going to go 10-7? You know, is that this fan base drives me crazy, Cat. Well, let me explain. You said we got a new head coach. Our head coach is way better than our previous head coach. Number one. And it's easy to identify. Oh, how can you tell he's a better head coach? He's a way better player evaluator. When it comes to evaluating the talent, he's clearly way better than that. He's not here to coach up talent. He's here to bring in talent and maximize their abilities. You see the difference?
What's that based
Another factor on how I know our team is better.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with the coach, honestly, and the general manager. Here's the story. What did we do as a general manager and as a head coach immediately when they got here? First thing they did, started getting rid of injury-prone players. Why is that important? At the end of the season, your leaders have to be on the field. If you have injury-prone leaders and they're off the field when you need them the most, you can't win those games. We don't have those problems no more. So at the end of the season, Jordan Brooks is a dog still. At the end of the season, A-Chain is still running. Brewer is still blocking. A lot of these guys are going to be getting better and better during the season. And they're going to stay healthy because we don't have an injury-prone roster. Are we going to get injuries? Every team does. Every team does. But the beauty about this roster is the guy that we have starting, he's like a 7 and an 8. Healthy as can be, young as strong, as fast as can be. He's not no all-pro, but he's a good, talented football player. If he goes down, the guy we have behind him now is a 7 with a little bit less experience, who can easily be an 8, be a 9, but it's no injury prone. So I feel so confident on the roster, on the talent, based on the fact that we got smarter evaluators, almost a non-injury prone lineup, and that itself is going to have, like you said, and one of the most important takes, right, that you said, Kat, 43 hungry football players that are searching for their next contract. I go back to the stream, my last stream. KP, shout out to KP. What did KP said? He said, now it just crossed my mind. He said something about the roster with the 43 players. And it made so much sense. These guys are hungry. It was almost exactly what CatndaHat aligned to. That's what it is. A hungry roster ready to fight and compete and make their names.
Hopefully Proctor's not too hungry because that boy needs to lose weight.
Who?
Proctor. The donut boy.
Liz, you should just be able to go into the Discord and join the voice channel. You don't have to use the link. You already have permissions.
Pete, who did you say is the talent evaluator? Good talent evaluator. Is that Hafley?
Hey, y'all chat it up for
Sullivan
a
and
minute.
Hafley.
Right
What are you based?
Some of the personnels we have in the building. Troy Aikman. You don't think that guy knows how to evaluate talent when he's going across the league and he sees them all? This is the thing. Like someone like Troy Aikman, they travel from training camp to training camp. They see all these teams in training camp. When you do that, you can clear. Like, let's say Troy Aikman was only stuck with the Dolphins. to him, the Dolphins are a good football team. Practice is looking really good. His eyes are only stuck on the Dolphins. When you get someone like Troy Aikman, he can identify already. Man, I went to the Dolphins training camp. I saw those guys. Yeah, they looked good. But when I go to this practice, this roster looks good. When I go to
where
that,
else has Troy Aikman done scouting?
he travels across the he goes from teams to team. Well, I don't know now that he's part of the Dolphins. I truly don't know.
Right.
But in previous years, he definitely was like always at the Cowboys, the Packers. He was seen like on other teams, and that's how when you have someone that's across the league, they know what teams are good. They know what teams have a good roster or their practice resume. Like, look what some of the people said about our team last year, our own players on the team. Oh, it's totally different now. We're practicing more now. Yeah, we're doing like it's totally different now. It's an overnight change that's going to have these guys fighting and competing.
So let's say I want to rock with that positive take, because that, to me, that is what I'm most hopeful about with this regime change, is that we got the right guy with Hafley, coaching the locker room, with identifying talent, with putting people in the right position. All of that is, to me, the most important change we could make, aside from Tua. But let's say I want to rock with that. What like evidence have you seen so far of Hafley and Sullivan, besides, unless you're putting the whole point on Aikman was the one who kind of guided us to them? What have you seen from them that shows you that they're good talent evaluators?
I said it right now in the beginning of my spew, but we haven't seen much. But what we have seen is their decisions that they've made, Joe, which is my favorite part: getting rid of some of the injury-prone players. Cutting Tua was a sign of this is a good player evaluator. He is not going to limit the rest of the roster. He's going to look at the roster, and nobody could be limitless.
Whoever came in was going to do that. So that, to me, that one was a gimme.
That one, okay. Look at him. Hill was kind of a gimme now, based on what we're hearing with his no power in his leg.
That's true. Maybe they knew more than we know now,
because a lot of the fan base was saying it even before we even knew that. You know, I was just being hopeful on his injury and his return, but the reality is, everyone that says he's not coming back and he's cut and we're going to cut Tyreek Hill, those guys were spot on with that, because they said it was the injury. But Bradley Chubb,
right?
Think about Bradley Chubb, a position that most fans think we need. We need edge. We need that outside linebacker role. That's a necessity. Chop Robinson is trash, they say. It doesn't matter. Injury prone, you're gone. If I have to sit and I know Austin Jackson stayed around, but the reality is you can't get rid of everybody. But you got rid of the actual guys that are truly injury prone. And that's the beginning.
Phillips, they probably would have moved on from him too. He probably would have been a move if he had still been here.
Who?
Phillips.
Oh yeah, Jaden Phillips.
Yeah, I don't think he would be here if he had finished as a Dolphin.
Yeah, he would. They would have let him walk. He's injury prone. That's another thing.
Okay, I can understand that. I can agree with that positive take.
Well, Austin Jack, I hate to say it, but and I know Pete, I know you like Austin Jackson. I do too when he's healthy, but Austin Jackson kind of fits that role too. But I guess with the offensive line being what it is, we're going to keep him for a little bit and see what happens. But he may be the next one gone. I'm not going to say this season, but once the season is over with, or maybe halfway, he may be gone if he lasts that long.
He has a 1-year trial with this new regime, Mr. Park.
Gotcha.
If he stays healthy, remember what I'm telling you.
No, I hope he does stay healthy, because let me say it like this. He kind of reminds me of Jake Long. When we drafted Jake Long was a monster. He was a monster. But the thing that hurt him was his injury. he couldn't stay healthy. So what I'm saying is that with Austin, if he stays healthy, man, you got a top player right there on the offensive line. So my thing is that my biggest wish for him is just to stay healthy.
He stays healthy, he's gonna get a contract extension next offseason by us. He's like a piece of the core.
Hey, do you guys like the fact that we have real linebackers as opposed to like what you guys said about using the defensive edge always to be a linebacker? Like, isn't it nice to know that we have at least 4 sets of guys that can play the middle and we can just have guys focus on the edge?
Well, Cal, you talking about in the middle side, the inside
like how
linebacker?
we used to have to drop back Phillips into coverage.
Yeah, we used to do that with everybody, even with the
another thing I left out, Cap for life. That's another thing, Joe. Think about that. Think about what Cap just said on a piece that I left out on why to be optimistic on this regime. Not only are they good talent evaluators, when you're a good talent evaluator, then you know how to put the players in the correct scheme. Mm-hmm. You know how to put Chop and Kenneth Grant in a 4-3 defense. Not have Chop Robinson trying to cover. Not try to force Chop Robinson. Oh, just set the edge. Set that. You see, that's what bothers me a lot with this fan base. You know that, fellas? I'll give you guys a perfect example. When we drafted Mike Gesicki, if you pay attention to the fan base, the year we drafted Mike Gesicki, what we were asking for and what we were begging for was a receiving threat tight end. I want y'all to be with me. A receiving threat tight end. That's what we got.
Yeah.
He was young. He didn't really pop off with Mike Adam Gase. Was it Adam Gase? Or no, he didn't really pop off with Flores. He really didn't pop off with Flores.
No, he
did
pop off with
Flores, he kind of
yeah.
popped off with Flores in that. That's what I meant to say. He kind of popped off with Flores.
He had the nicest
and then the
hurdle,
scheme
bro.
changed with McDaniel. The scheme changed with McDaniel. And we went into a blocking approach from the tight end position. So because we changed our scheme, and now the fan base wants to sit here and call Mike Gesicki trash.
And actually,
now the fan base wants to sit here
me
and
too,
say,
because I wasn't quite in the Dolphins community yet as far as having my own channel, like when we got rid of Mike Gesicki. But that was my deciding factor when Mike McDaniel got rid of Mike Gesicki. That was my deciding factor that I needed to have a closer eye on Mike McDaniel, because Mike Gesicki was one of the greatest tight ends that we had in a long time. The way that he just caught the ball, the way he was able to get the yak afterwards. Nah, bro. His hurdle was so nice. And the fact that Mike McDaniel couldn't utilize his
catch radius.
The fact that Mike McDaniel couldn't utilize the strengths of Mike Gesicki was what originally made me start questioning Mike McDaniel in this offense. You can go on.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback on that. I'm gonna piggyback on that and say that, you're right about the Mike McDaniel thing. Because here's the thing: when we did bring in Mike Gesicki, we also turned around and went and got one of the best blocking tight ends coming out that same draft, and Durham Smythe. So that, and we brought Durham Smythe in because we know that his main thing was to complement Gesicki by blocking, by bringing him in plays and running plays where plays where when we run it, we bring in Durham Smythe, and Durham Smythe was doing a good job with the blocking. Then I'm tell you something else with Durham Smythe. He started developing his hand. So that's why when we let Gesicki go, I'm gonna say it, and I don't care what nobody think. I didn't like that decision because Gesicki was, to me, I was looking at Gesicki as a big wide receiver, and he was catching the ball. He was balling.
Gesicki probably could have been explosive with Tyreek Hill and Waddle here,
bro. It was a jag here, bro. Come on, what did he ever do? Let me something he ever done.
It's not about it, but listen, Cap, this is the problem. Now you think he was a jag. The moral of what I was trying to say was we always draft the player. We know why we drafted the player, But then when the scheme change, or if the scheme affects them from not playing well, then we call that player trash and we want him out of here. Let's be honest. Mike
I know,
Gesicki,
but
when we
said
drafted
it.
him, we said we drafted a receiving tight end. Nobody complained that he couldn't block. He didn't block in college, bro. But because he wasn't making plays in this dumb McDoodle offense that needs a tight end to block like a six lineman, right? Then they started calling him trash. No, bro. This is what's going on with Chop Robinson now, Cap for Life. We never drafted Cap for Life. We never drafted Chop Robinson to be a dominant run stopper. We never drafted Chop Robinson to be a pass covering edge. We never drafted Chop Robinson to sit here and do the things he was asked to do and play 3-4 out of the scheme.
Look,
so now,
all I'm saying.
No, go ahead, Cap.
All I'm saying is, when we needed Gesicki the most on that last play with Skyler, bro, like he throws the ball, Skyler throws the ball to him, bro, in Buffalo, the last play in the playoff, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the guy was 6 foot plus. You know, tell me that ball was going straight to him and he drops it, bro. Like that's the last time that's the last time I even relied on Mike Gesicki, bro.
First of all, he had Ravens everybody Buffalo and Mark Andrews, bro. He dropped 2 crucial catches that could have changed that outcome.
Oh, but Mark Andrews, you guys still have anything Gesicki ever did for us. You guys still haven't even played.
If you go back to that Buffalo Skyler playoff game, nobody talks about it. You're right, Cap for Life. Nobody talks about the major drops that Mike Gesicki had in that game because he literally had an 80-yard touchdown drop in that game. That Skylar Thompson timed in the second quarter, perfectly timed, dropped back on his foot, stepped on it, threw it, went right through Mike Gesicki's hands in stride. He would have ran it all the way to the end zone.
What do you remember? What type of energy the Gesicki always brought to this team? Like he always had that positive energy, bro. He was like he was like a captain on the field without being a captain. Go ahead, Mr. Paul.
That he was, and
there was times, Cat and Hat, that I was thinking like, man. Where's Mike Gesicki at when we had Tyreek Hill and Waddle?
No, because here's the thing. One of the things that I seen with Mike Gesicki, and you just brought it up, Cat, was leadership on the field. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. And I could be wrong for saying this. Tua kind of messed up Mike Gesicki also. He did, and because to me, I seen one play. I can't remember what game it was where Tua was getting ready to get up on the center, and Mike Gesicki, it was like Mike Gesicki was
I remember pointing that.
Tua out to where he's supposed to. It was something that happened where he was kind of.
He was telling. He was basically telling Tua where people needed to line up because he wasn't lined up correctly in the play. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But you know, I and with Cap, I know everybody got everybody got their opinion, but I think Gesicki was a good tight end, but I think
he came
his
in at
problem
the wrong
was
time.
he was with our team.
Sure. If he would have went to a different team with a quarterback,
exactly,
like if he would have went to Philadelphia, he'd be a Dallas Goedert right now. Like he would be Dallas Goedert right now. Like seriously, if he would have went to Green Bay, he'd be the Tucker Kraft.
And you said Dallas Goedert. That's who if you go back to that draft around that time, that's exactly who I was saying we should draft. Dallas Goedert instead of Mike Gesicki. That's who I was asking for in the draft in that year.
Yeah, but if he would have came in instead of Mike Gesicki, he might have.
What's up?
He probably would have had the same experience. What I'm trying to say is that at that time, if you didn't use if you didn't use Mike Gesicki in the right way, any other tight end that would have been better with Mike Gesicki, that would be better than Mike Gesicki, we probably would have done them the same way. It just I give you another
I don't want to make
example.
it seem like the purpose of that conversation was about Mike Gesicki. It came down to the point, whereas now, Joe and everybody, we have a coach that knows how to put players in the right position.
Right. And
when you're a good talent evaluator like Jeff Hafley and Sullivan,
I got to
you know, you know that you're going to put players in the right position. And the example I gave you was Mike Gesicki, and it was going to run off to Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson is going to be a 4-3 defensive end. He's going to pin his ears back, and he's going to go ahead and rush the passer. That is already going to help him.
Not a rebuttal, just a kind of follow up, because when you talk about talent evaluation, there's more like 5 parts of it, right? You've got, and you talked about, I think, 2 of them. You talked about managing your current roster with either extending guys or cutting guys, right? We cut the right injury-prone guys, and we extended, the ones that we should keep around. You've also got trading players is one of them, which I think our only trade was Waddle, right? Did we do any other trades?
Minkah Fitzpatrick was a trade.
Was it just Waddle?
And, yeah, that was
Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Waddle and Fitzpatrick. Yeah, it was a 7th round.
Minkah was a trade
pick.
What was that one again? Okay, yeah. So I mean, that was one where yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of split on that. I liked the Waddle trade. I thought we could have possibly gotten more value out of the Minkah trade, but I don't think that's necessarily down to player evaluation on. Yeah, that too. That's kind of shitty, but I wouldn't hold that against them as far as talent evaluation. I think that's more of, not negotiating as well for value on capital of a trade. But I mean, we haven't had much trades really to look at so far. But the free agency ads, we've had a ton, and I think that's another area of talent evaluation is what you add from the free agency, and then also obviously the draft, which I've shared my opinions on plenty of times. But I want the free agency. If you think about it, we added a lot through the free agency. It was a very active free agency with players that are actually going to see the field. Yeah, obviously Malik Willis we talk about all the time. In the receivers, there's 4 free agent receivers that, I mean, could definitely see action. I'd say at least 2 of them will see action. There's Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, Terrace Marshall Jr., and Jalen Reagor.
Yeah.
And then you've got the offensive line, Sawyer and Heck. I think were the 2. Maybe there's some other guys that are on the roster that probably won't make it. Then you got Ben Sims. You got Carlos Washington, who may or may not make the team. Then on defense, you have Uche and Ojabo, Robert Beal and Lonnie Johnson, Zane Anderson, Alex Austin, Major Burns. Yeah. Then Zane Gonzalez and Bradley Pinion on special teams, too, a new kicker and punter. A lot of free agency moves to kind of judge, the coach and the GM on. Even though it's a lot of 1-year contracts and kind of a strange year where we're trying to kind of feel out the team, there's a lot of moves there. And I would say, I agree with most of those signings, by the way.
Yeah, because
and let me tell you something, Joe. Guys, I'm really high on most in this fan base that I feel are going to have a breakout year, and I mean breakout. Jason Marshall Jr. Nobody's talking about him. I feel he's going to be back. Yes, he's going back to boundary. He's going to be that man never played nickel in his life. Listen to this. He never played nickel corner in his life. Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer get their hands on this guy, and they think it's a good idea to put him in the NFL at the highest level you can make it at, and say, hey, you know what? Maybe you should play nickel.
You weren't here earlier when I was talking about it, but I mean, we have situations this year where we're gonna get to be able to see, Jeff Hafley's coaching firsthand. That we have opportunities going into this year where we get to take a microscope to Jeff Hafley and really see how he does his coaching. Right, Chop Robinson is one of the biggest ones that we can point to and be like, we saw last year that Anthony Weaver was using him out of position, wasn't using him correctly. So this is a moment where we get to look at Jeff Hafley and be like, are you going to notice that? Are you going to do anything about that? Are you going to put him in a different position? Are you going to use him differently? Same with what I talk about with Chris Johnson, Pete. Like with how Chris Johnson gets beat off of the line. This is an opportunity where Jeff Hafley can come in. He can notice that, and he can either coach him out of it or just not put him in positions to where he gets beat out of the line. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for us as fans to be able to look at Jeff Hafley and his coaching ability and know in year one if he's the guy as well. It's not just the players that we're looking at, right? It's not just the players. And it's like, I know the Dolphin fan base is divided right now, but we're divided for no reason because we all have the same mindset and the same goal for the end of this year. And that's to be a winning organization for the future.
Yeah. What's going on, Liz?
Hey, Liz.
What are your thoughts for the 2026 season, Liz? Which side of the fence are you on? Are you on the 4-13 side, or are you on the 10-7 playoff contention side? She's just here.
If she's not there,
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I was getting some water.
Oh, did you hear the question?
I think we're on the winning side. I think we'll get more wins than losses.
Anything behind that? You have any reasoning, or you just want to be a true Finn fan?
I don't know. It seems a lot different now, you know? And with everything going on. Yeah, I don't know.
Addition
I guess the feeling in the air is different.
We'll go with that.
I think she's riding the vibes of moving on from Tua.
That's definitely a train to get on. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's for real.
Breaking
I don't
news,
think that's breaking
still
news,
sucks.
Liz, but we appreciate it. Thank you.
I want to know out of all those players I had just listed, all those free agency ads, besides Malik Willis, because I think that's the obvious answer. Which of those free agency ads was the best ad and will be most impactful? And possibly even be here long term.
That was not a free agency.
Aiden Proctor.
Ads.
No, I'm talking free agency ads.
Oh,
That's a good question.
I could read through them again.
Yeah, read through them real quick.
You got, and at receiver, you got Tolbert, Atwell, Marshall Jr., Jalen Reagor. Offensive line, you got Sawyer and Heck. Tight end, you got Ben Sims. Running back, you got Carlos Washington. And then on defense, you got Uche and Ojabo. Which I think Uche is, I guess, like a edge. Is Ojabo? Is he like an edge, or is he more like a outside, more like a linebacker, a traditional linebacker? I don't know much about Ojabo. You got Robert Beal as well. You got Lonnie Johnson, Zane Anderson, Alex Austin, Major Burns. And then you got the kicker and punter, Zane Gonzalez and Bradley Pinion. Out of all those guys, who do you think is going to be either most impactful or end up being a Dolphin for a while, being a big part of the team?
Go ahead, Mr. Park. Go ahead, Mr.
Go ahead. Well, I'm gonna go with even though I haven't seen him on the field yet, I'm gonna go with Ben Sims for right now.
Ben Sims?
Yeah, the tight end.
I might agree with you because I think that room has the most opportunity in it.
Yeah, because he's going to be. Listen, because we have Gasicki. I mean, I'm sorry, not we have Dulcich. We have Sims, and then we have Cashman. And I don't know if Sims going to be the number one or number two, but he's going to either be our number one or number two tight end. So that's why that's why I'm kind of go with Sims because he's in a good room.
Right, and he comes from Green Bay, so the staff
Exactly.
the guys are used to him.
And let me add this real quickly too. There's quite a few agents that are on our team that are tied to either the Green Bay Packers or and also with Willis. Yeah.
Okay, so you say Ben Sims. What about you, Liz? Any of those guys that I listed, you think will be sticking around for a while?
I know one
I think
guy
most
that
of them are on one-year
I'm
deals.
hoping has gotten rid of the injury bug because he's a really good player, but he's had an injury every single year dating all the way back through high school. And I'm telling you, I went all the way back through high school. He's had an injury every single year. He's only played like 8 or 9 games a year, but he does really good in those 8 or 9 games, and that's Josh Uche. Josh Uche is really good, but he's had injuries every single year dating all the way back through high school. But the last 2 years, he has stayed healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a guy that if he can continue to stay healthy, he could really make a big difference for this defense.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got to stay healthy.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think that you guys listed probably my top 2, and then I think I have a third one. I'm wondering if Pete is going to say that name.
Well, actually, I have a couple that will sign the long term, but because you said who would have a good season and be here, a good season and be here. I
long
think it's going to
term.
be
Yeah,
like get a little extension, a 3-year extension, maybe a 2 to 3-year extension type stuff, right? After the season is over, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Tolbert is one. I also think Tutu Atwell is going to be another. The receivers are going to be in due part because it's going to be a spread the ball around offense. So none of them are going to be like 100 catch guy, So they're going to want to stay here. They earned their spot here. So that's why I think Jalen Tolbert and Tutu Atwell are gonna shine this year. The name that I think that is gonna really break out and surprise everyone, but the decision is gonna probably turn out to be that he walks in free agency because he just outpriced himself here. You guys will be shocked. I think it's gonna be Lonnie Johnson, the safety. When Hafley went to, and CatndaHat talks about this all the time. This is why I tell you guys, CatndaHat, he said it before me, so I'm letting him have it, even though I was gonna say it. But since he said it first and he brings up turnovers, I give it to him. And I always mention the name with the turnovers. When Xavier McKinney went to Green Bay the first year under Hafley, he led the league in interceptions. And that's what I think Lonnie Johnson is going to do this season. I think Dante Trader is going to play more box. He's going to be asked to cover the tight ends more. Dante Trader, he's the bigger hitter. He's going to be the guy that's asked to be there like that. And the free safety with experience that's going to know the defense and run it well and put himself in good positions because Hafley's that guy is Lonnie Johnson, our free safety. And he is I think he's going to lead the league in interceptions, and the team is going to pay him big bank, like honestly, 3 years, $100 million next season.
That was going to be the other guy,
and that's how we're going to end up
between
losing.
him and Uche for me to talk about. But some quick notes on Lonnie Johnson here. He's 6'2", 221 pounds. He's going to be going into his 8th season in the NFL. He's a veteran. 92 games
It's a
played with
veteran.
22 starts,
Mhm.
224 total tackles, 4 interceptions, 17 passes defended. Last year he did suffer a fractured fibula, but he played wide receiver and cornerback in college, and he switched to safety his second year in the NFL. So, just a
Great.
little.
You noticed that, right?
So
He
he
is
played. So
a
the
natural
bulk of his
corner.
career though was before
Now
2022.
put at free safety. This guy is gonna get turnovers, and I hope when he intercepts them, he's not greedy. You know, I want our freaking defense to pitch it back. You get that interception. You know that lineman has an angle on you, and you can't juke him. Pitch that ball back. Give it to Jacob Rodriguez. Let him run around and score that touchdown. That's what it's going to take, CatndaHat, man. Our defense better be in sync like that. When we get those interceptions, they better be ready to pitch that ball back to score that touchdown on that interception, man.
And that's why that's one of the reasons why one of the reasons why I'm so excited about, I call him J-Rod. One of the reasons why I'm so excited about J-Rod is, one, I'm getting the Zachary Thomas vibes, and two, he has strong connections right now with Zach
Thomas. And Zach Thomas. Don't forget to add
and
Zach Thomas in there as well.
When we, that's right, and Zach Thomas.
Here
Exactly.
we go.
And with that being said, I like what's our inside linebacker room, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do. So right now we got. I'm going to use the word veteran starting, and then we have somebody sitting behind that has the potential to be a great inside linebacker in the NFL with J-Rod. So this is really what I said on our platform. This is going to be exciting.
I'm glad you mentioned Zach Thomas, and like you're comparing him to Zach Thomas, which is great and everything. But I feel like we already had our Zach Thomas when we had AVG over here, and that's another one of those guys that we should not have let go, because we literally already had the Zach Thomas on this team. And if y'all go back and y'all watch him play, bro, he gives me Zach Thomas vibes more than anybody else, man.
Yes, listen, I followed him in college, and that's why I'm not gonna lie. When we got rid of Van Ginkel,
bro,
I was angry, and because the reason why I was angry is because Van Ginkel really wanted to stay. He wanted to stay, but we let him go anyway. And the thing that did make me just a little bit happy is that he landed in Minnesota out there with Flores. So I said, you know what? Even though I would want to, right?
But he landed in Minnesota, and Flores landed in Pittsburgh, and then Flores went to Minnesota.
Are you sure?
But
I thought he went
I agree with
Minnesota.
a lot of what you guys are saying. Ginkle. I'm positive. No, Flores went to Pittsburgh after us for a year. Then he went to Minnesota. But Van Ginkel, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is when Stephen Ross should have fired Chris Greer.
Mm-hmm.
There was I think it was versus the Jets. Van Ginkel had an explosive game in like week 11 or 12. It was mid-season, towards the end of the season. And Van Ginkel in a primetime game had a big game. And after that game, Stephen Ross was seen on the field like hugging Van Ginkel and talking to him. Reports came out after that game that Stephen Ross wants Van Ginkel extended. So if you go back to that season, I was loud and wrong, right? Because when I knew about that report, I felt confident that Van Ginkel wasn't going anywhere. You still had some of these podcasters talking about, we might get rid of him, because they started talking about everything and all the other contracts and everything else. I'm like, these guys are idiots if they think we're going to get Andrew Van Ginkel out of here. The owner is already, reports are that he's endorsing for him to get a contract extension. And little did we know He didn't get extended by the Greer regime, and it was
Sure did.
shocking. That was one of the most shocking ones.
No,
I
not
felt that
shocked.
was one of the ones I felt like the most confident that we will extend. But let me tell you guys something. I'm gonna bring you guys up a name, right? That kind of remind me of Van Ginkel that's currently on the roster. And I want you guys to go do your own homework. Nobody's talking about this guy. And right now you're going to say you're just guessing, Pete. You don't know. But I also believe we're going to have a breakout star in undrafted free agent Max Rieger. When training camp comes around, remember what I told you about that name, Max Rieger.
It's another player that might be, that's undrafted. I got to go back and look at his film because it's been a little bit. It's another player that we have undrafted, and I think he's on the defensive side of the ball too. That could be a diamond in the rough. I can't, like I said, I got to go back and look at the film and look at the loss. One thing I will say about the Miami Dolphins.
That's the only one, and it comes with a negative take, by the way.
Are you talking about Max Llewellyn, Pete?
No, Rieger. Max
Rieger?
Rieger.
I was talking about. One that Joe just named.
Who the fuck is Max Rieger?
We got
whose last name is Rieger on the roster? Because I might be mixing
That's
up
the receiver.
Max.
You're mixing up the receiver we added with the UDFA.
No. Right, Rieger. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He was an undrafted defensive end.
Are you talking? I think you're talking about Max Llewellyn.
Not Max Llewellyn. No. His name is something like Rieger.
Oops, let me see. I got the roster right. Yeah, at least I did. Oh man, I took the Dolphin roster over here. Okay, I'm about to put it back.
Mason Rieger.
Oh, Mason Rieger.
Mason Rieger. There you go.
Reiger.
That guy. And the reason why I feel confident on him is because if Chop doesn't work out, he's the type of guy that he can set the edge and he has pass rushing skills. So if this new regime doesn't like Chop, I understand we have more defensive ends. I'm just saying, in training camp, Chop is looking bad. Rieger is going to be looking like a standout compared to Chop.
He's from Wisconsin. He's 1-year starter. Honorable mention, all Big Ten in 2025. Was
that's where
defensive MVP of the 2026 Shrine Bowl. Transferred from Louisville in 2025 after missing an entire 2024 season with an injury. Was a backup rotational player prior to that. All somewhat slender frame with decent length. Primarily played a wide 9 in a 2-point stance, but at times aligned in a 5 or 6 tech in a 4-point stance. Plays with a hot motor, chasing plays until the whistle. Normally shows a quick first step exploding off the inside foot. Shows pop with his hands on initial strike, getting inside on the numbers to separate. Can set the edge versus tight ends and chase to the sideline.
See what I told you?
Effective on inside stunts, disrupting blocking schemes and collapsing the pocket. Has been used occasionally in coverage, getting depth and using length to close the throwing lane. Mostly used to rush the passer. He's improved greatly in technique and still has upside. First step usually gets him upfield in a hurry, and he has above average bend to turn the corner. Has effectively used chops, hand swipes, and push-pull into a move to get free. Shows a club and swim move as an inside counter that has put him in the face of QBs. Can be explosive tackling, but lacks consistent gather and tends to be too high. Can be out of control and is whiffed on some big plays, missing tackles in the backfield. Missed tackle percentage is too high. Shows an occasional false step to get step on, get off. Shows an occasional false step on get off. Gets tall on blocks at times and locked out of the play. Lacks power to take on pullers consistently. Will need refinement and could use more bulk. Has the potential of a quality rotational edge rusher. Draft projection 5th or 6th round, and he went UDFA.
Big boy.
That's from Who's that from? Our Lads
Well, I
NFL
mean,
scouting service.
hopefully at the end of the day, like, he doesn't matter, right? Like, our hope is that Jeff Hafley can fix Chop Robinson, and we don't have to rely on a UDFA to come save the world. But if that's the case, and he ends up coming out and saving the world, I mean, great.
But you notice a lot what Joe said, Cat, with the inside stuff and the setting the edge and the different array of pass moves on how he's able to push away and get off the block. A lot of what Joe just finished saying is what is the knock on Chop.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
But is that the knock on
So,
Chop? Because
he's
he's
gonna
not
if this regime, think about it. You know what? I said it on the last stream. This guy and it's not gonna only be Rager, and if someone else at that defensive end like Max Llewellyn stands out from Texas, that is gonna send Chop Robinson on the trade block. This regime has no ties to Chop. They have ties to Rager. They have ties to Llewellyn. They don't have ties to the last guys. So if they continue to get asked by the reporters, oh, Chop didn't look good. He wasn't setting the edge. He keeps struggling. They're not going to deal with that. They're going to trade that guy.
Yeah, because competition.
Mind you, still got Trey Moore and Ojabo.
It's
one of the best men to win.
It's evaluating the talent we have, so that next year we can put the best talent on the football field. Because this year we might see games where we don't have the best talent on the football field, but Jeff Hafley needs to know if they can do the job or not. So we got to put him out there anyways. We got to put him out there, and we got to at least try, because this vanilla offense that Bobby Slowick's putting out there, it's designed so that any wide receiver, any tight end, any offensive lineman can go out there and should be able to do their job. And so they're all going to get the chance. They're all going to get the opportunity, hopefully.
You know what's weird? What the fans think are weaknesses.
And what's that?
I'm in love with.
Entitle them.
Could we go out and have a Jamar Chase? Yeah, I wish we had. I love our secondary room, and I love our wide receiver room, bro. I'll be honest. I love them. I love the talent that I see in that room compared to years prior. Remember, bro, when we signed Jack Jones, I told y'all I didn't like it. When we signed Rasul Douglas, I didn't like it. Albeit, I came out after film was displayed. I started switching and I started saying, hey, Rasul Douglas is playing like a dog. I kind of like what I see a little bit, but I never liked the cornerback,
put
like
some
the
substance
talent
behind
wise.
it. Like why do you like the wide receiver room? Why do you like the cornerbacks?
The wide receiver room, I'm really high based on what I've already seen from Jalen Tolbert. Based on the highlights that he has, you can see a wide receiver that has displayed it all. All right? And to be quite honest with you, I think he's capable of taking over wide receiver one role for us. He's explosive. He's hard to bring down. And one of my favorite things about him, he's not the fastest. Okay? Let me tell y'all something. When it comes to football, you don't have to run a 4.3. Yeah, you got to be quick. You got to be quick. And he's explosive in a 10-yard split. He's one of the fastest in the league with a 1.49, right? But what I love about Jalen Tolbert is how he comes off of his breaks, how fast he can stop. A lot of big receivers like that, they struggle to stop. You can tell by the time you can see their deceleration. You can see them slow down. And when a cornerback can tell that you're slowing down to either cut off the route or they're already pivoting their back foot, they're already on top of you because they see how long it takes. Jalen Tolbert, I think he's the best receiver we have on the roster. that going from full speed to immediate stop, he's the best at it. And that's what that's important to have. If you don't have that, you can't be elite. And he has that. Caleb Douglas has that a bit too. But what you call it? Joe said it when he was talking about Rager, when he plays too tall, too high. You see what I'm saying? That's the only thing. It looks like Caleb Douglas, he's playing like on his tippy toes, light on his feet. He's playing tippy toe, light on his feet. So you can kind of like, he's going to have to change that up. He needs to be with Jalen Tolbert, and he was with Jamar Chase training in T. Higgins. So I'm pretty sure they told him, hey, stronger feet, faster deceleration at the top. Stop showing your drop. And when he learns that, then Caleb Douglas is going to be who I predict him to be, which is a star receiver. Is that hard to do? In a sense, yeah, because some body types, it's hard to run full speed and stop on a dime. Boom. And that's just what I think Jalen Tolbert is going to be a star of. Several others, bro. I'm high with the talent on this team. The cornerback room. I love Chris Johnson. I already killed the narrative that you're spewing out there, CatndaHat. All that he gets beat off the line of scrimmage, bro, that happens to a lot of corners. And what I realize when a corner is willing to get beat over the top, number one, okay, let me tell you guys something. When these hating negative fans on Chris Johnson's name and they bring it up that he played against no wide receivers.
Facts.
Okay, that could be facts. But you don't think he knew those wide receivers weren't that good against him?
You're saying he lured the interceptions out by letting them do it?
Yes, he lured them. He's a ball hawker. You got to be that intelligent. You got to understand, hey, this quarterback, I'm going to give it to him. He's going to think the wide receiver's open. He's going to think he beat me off the line. But I already know he's not going to outrace me. I already know his tendencies. He's a film watcher. He's going to bait the quarterback. And that's one of my favorite parts. So what CatndaHat is saying as a negative, which naturally, if you're getting beat and that is happening, then, of course, that's a bad thing. But he's not getting beat. He's not getting beat. He's just giving it to the quarterback.
When the QB is slow and meat all throws, where the receiver has to completely stop and wait.
He's got to watch the film that we watch.
And that gets picked off.
I've seen the Chris Johnson tape. I've seen it. He's a snake.
I think Hafley can teach him to be
slimy.
one, but I'm still concerned about that burst. You're not going to have that luxury against most QBs.
And that's a take I agree with you, Joe. But I'm assuming
let's hope
that's how good of a corner he is.
I really do.
He is that smart.
But that's just one
He's
corner.
Not going to do that. He's not going to play like that and give up things if he knows he's going against Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow.
That's
fine. If Joe Burrow was hurt and their backup Joe Flacco comes in, and he might test that. Flacco will probably carve him out, but he'll test them out.
But that's just one corner. You said the whole DB room you were happy with. Look at our starting five
Alex
DBs
Austin,
right now.
Baker Jr.,
or most likely.
Marco
You've
Wilson,
got
Juju.
Now you got Chris Johnson, Juju Brents, and Jason Marshall might be the three projected starting corners. And then safeties, you might have Dante Trader and Lonnie Johnson, or Zane Anderson could sneak his way in there. Probably not the rookie Michael Taff. And I don't think Lewis Moore gets even if he is getting playing time, I don't think that's a starting five.
We also got Ronnie Harrison
in a nickel
Jr.
defense.
Who works
so if you just look
at safety and linebacker. So versatility.
Well, Michael
That's
Taff,
one of the common things.
Did he play? I keep right because Because I keep thinking that they brought him in to be a DB and also to play special teams.
What was the name, Mr. Polk?
I could be wrong. Because I think he played special teams in college.
He's Michael Taft.
Michael Taft.
Taff. He's slotted at free safety behind Lonnie Johnson.
A lot of people are also
right. What I'm looking at.
Taking into consideration for this year, I think a lot of our rookies are probably gonna start on in the special teams, right? Because it's the 1 year deal, guys. Well, he could easily get the start. Like if you're in the first 3 rounds, I'm saying like if you're in the first 3 rounds, it's a good chance that you might get on the starting rotation. But if you're beyond round 3, you're probably hitting it on special teams because we have so many other 1 year deal guys that we have to put out on the field and find out if they're worth bringing back or not. These rookies, we still have next year. It's about developing these players. So I honestly don't see any rookie beyond the 3rd round becoming a starter on this team, like right out the rip. Like that doesn't mean that they can't earn it down the line, but to start week 1 through 5,
I agree.
I don't see any of those 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounders starting.
And this is why I get mad. These are the fans that I think our third round
1, 2, and 3. The 1, 2, and 3 rounders. Those guys will most likely be starters, but anyone beyond that will probably be special teams guys.
Which is Trey Moore, Kyle Lewis, Michael Taft, DJ Campbell, Kevin Coleman, that goofy tight end from Great Britain.
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah.
No.
Because I thought he was talking about the 3rd round in particular. Because I think all 3 in the 3rd round are going to be some of the best football players on our team.
I don't know about Kazmarek.
The tight end.
All right,
oh
talk
my!
To me.
That
talk
guy
to me, bro.
don't do
talk
that.
Me.
Guy is gonna be a monster. I think dude, and I'm gonna be honest.
How can all 3 of them? Are all 3 going to be getting a ton of passes?
No, Kaepernick is the new Gronk of this league, guys. He is a. You know what he's gonna be special at? But let me tell you what he's gonna be special at. You ever heard? You ever heard of a legal push off?
Within
you
5
know you
yards,
can
right?
push off in this league, right? You have exactly. So what he's gonna be a special player on our team is in those short yardage. But what I want to see now, this is why I'm comparing him to Gronk. In a few instances, with the ball on his hand, he's one of the hardest guys to take down. He's an animal. But what I saw that was special is how he pushes off. He'll push his coverage off. The guy will get pushed off, and now he runs his route. He's wide open right off the snap. You get him the ball in his hands, now he makes noise. Now he's a monster. I think he's going to be special at that.
Throwing for 5,000 yards or something this year because you just got done saying how Colbert's going to be a beast. And you think Douglas is going to be good. You think Bell is going to be good. You think Ekmerick is going to be getting these receptions. You must have him throwing for 5,000 yards this year.
I'm not going to name this QB1 right now, okay? Because I really still feel
flip-flops have
arrived.
That's the Pete we missed.
I still feel there's
Quinn Ewers flag is flying.
Yes, I like Malik, but I like Quinn Ewers too.
I'm in the same boat with Pete.
You know, and they're gonna have to battle. I keep telling you guys, I do not care that Adam Schefter will tell us Malik Willis is QB1. I do not care that Joe will scream in my ear and tell me Malik Willis is QB1 because of the salary. I don't care about none of that. You know what I do? You know what I care about? I care about what my coaches that we hired that I love said. This is their model. And I know, like Sullivan said, because we brought him here and we have to name a QB1, Yeah, right now, Malik Willis, that's what he said. This is what he said.
All right, I got a
Yes, right
question for
now,
y'all. I
Malik
got a
Willis is
question for y'all.
QB1. I spoke about that. But and he also said training camp. Guess where we're at? Training camp. Slowick, you think my takes change? You think I don't believe that Quinn Ewers has an upper hand in Slowick's
No, he
offense
does.
way more than
100%. He
Malik?
does. And like I said, I
Malik
think
has ground
Slowick
to cover.
is backing Quinn Ewers.
Malik has ground
I
to
think
cover.
Slowick's and Ewers is corner. But I got
That
a question
QB
for
battle
you
could
guys.
be a
Yeah.
bit of a
Knowing
season.
that this is an evaluating year, right? This is a year for evaluation. And let's just imagine that we take the quarterback position into that as well,
Mhm.
right? And week 9, no matter how Malik Willis's year has turned out, how would you feel? Let's say Malik Willis is working out and he's got a pretty good he's done pretty good so far in week 9. We go ahead and we let Quinn Ewers finish out the season so that we can evaluate both the quarterbacks on our roster. How would that like
I would
I
say
wouldn't do it.
fire this regime. I would say
Yeah.
fire the GM, the head coach, fire, and we're tanking. I would say we're tanking. Ain't no way Malik Willis, you put a quarterback, like you said, winning and playing good on the bench to sit here and say, because I want to evaluate Quinn.
Well,
You don't do
furthermore,
that.
I think your focus becomes moving on from Quinn and getting a different backup for Malik at that point. That's a better fit exactly to what Malik's doing.
100%. You remember the trade I proposed the other day on the live, Joe? I think you were up there. Jalen Milroe for Quinn Ewers.
That's right.
Go.
That's right.
Cap
I don't
Filet.
think they would do it, but yes, that's right.
Go ahead, Cap Filet.
What up, Cap for Life?
Hey, did you guys hear when Hafley was asked about Quinn Ewers? And he was like, yeah, during the, OTAs and the, off season, he did good. He said, I could care. I don't care for the, no look passes and stuff like that. It's just going to make me want to let him know that next time we're going to bring people off the edge. Don't get too comfortable. I was hearing him like he was kind of pissed off that Ewers was showing him off just because he wasn't bringing pressure during the OTAs and shit like that. I was like, okay, preseason's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think that QB battle is going to bleed into the regular season too. You might as well.
Would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Give us some.
Well.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well,
I'm telling you, and nobody remember. The only one that was talking about it was me. Everyone is Malik is QB1.
Y'all
Nah.
No.
I know what I'm telling you guys, because this is what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen. Quinn Ewers, we were already told this, okay? So basically, when we were told Malik Willis got in trouble for checking it down too often, that's because Malik Willis doesn't have the grasp of everything. So he has to catch up. This is something he struggled his first year, and albeit he was a rookie, he admitted to it, that he wasn't caught up in the new system to the NFL. He went to Green Bay. He was in there for 2 years. He didn't play extremely well in the preseason, okay? We went over those stats. But as he had 2 years in the system, they kind of molded it to be a little simpler when he got in. He looked great. He was effective. But when it comes down to this new system, these new weapons, this new scheme, how is he going to fare in that when we already know, based on what Bobby Slowick said, we're pretty much running Mike McDaniel's offense, which I told y'all, if we don't get rid of Aaron Brewer, we're not going to change schemes. I told y'all this. The key to changing schemes would be getting rid of Aaron Brewer. Because with Aaron Brewer, you cannot be a front and face smash mouth run offense. You can't.
Zone run blocking.
Side to side, zone run, cut, and pick a hole. Correct. So now what's going to happen? It's going to be the same offense that Quinn Ewers has perfect. Yeah, they're going to change the wording. The verbiage is different. But Quinn Ewers already has timing with guys like DOEs, AJ Henning, some of the guys that were here last year. Quinn Ewers
Yeah, but
has that. He has the
yeah.
grab. Greg Dolchitz, don't forget. Greg Dolchitz didn't start popping off until Quinn Ewers took over. You know?
Well, he
So
popped off
so
last
this
year.
is gonna be
Last season.
I'm gonna give you an example. Yeah, he popped off last season when Quinn Ewers took over.
I mean,
No,
All the
I know before Quinn Ewers took over. He popped off even even with bad tools, he was popping off. But it got better when Quinn Ewers
You're
got
spot on.
it.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
You worded it even better than me. I appreciate that. But now that we've seen, because you know what? That's the perfect example. Greg Dolchitz is he could be dominant, right? Based on his small sample size. That's what they're going to say. Oh, slow your roll. It's a small sample size. No, but we saw what he can be. That's why we're high on him. So now that, because I haven't heard now one fan in this fan base be negative on Dolchitz. And Joe don't count.
Don't challenge me, Pete.
And Joe don't count. You see?
I can do it. I can do it.
Joe, we know.
I mean, is he a top 10 tight end in the NFL? Or does he have the capability of being one?
But this is the moral of what I was pretty much saying. If he's not popping off in training camp this offseason, where he's already valued and looked upon through the fan base as the starting tight end through the depth chart. Remember, the depth chart is not real right now. But a fan perspective, depth chart has their own fan perspective. Like I told y'all, I wouldn't be shocked if Patrick Paul is not our starting left tackle when it comes down to it, week 1. Because nothing is set in stone. This is a lot of assumption. This is a lot of we believe. And this is a lot of what can be based on what position they played on the last regime. But I'm going to be honest. All 22 positions are under evaluation with this new regime. And this new regime told us the evaluation isn't going to start until the pads come on. Remember that? So don't forget, this is a funny roster. It's a funny roster. It's a funny roster. Remember they told us Waddle wasn't going to get traded. He got traded. Remember they told us Caden Proctor is our starting left guard, and he won't be tested on the right side. Read between the lines. Read between the lines. This new regime.
This team was completely not what we thought it'd be.
No, listen, this is why they call me crazy. I'm sorry, Cap for Life, but this is why they call me crazy. I told y'all, don't be shocked if Caden Proctor, based on what we were told, he's the left guard. We haven't seen him in pads yet. But they already told us he won't be on the right side at all. They didn't say that about Patrick Paul. They didn't say that about Austin Jackson. They already said that about Jonas Salvanaya. That's his dead spot. If Salvanaya does not work out at right guard, bye-bye. You see what I'm saying? Caden Proctor, they value him. That's their pick. That's their Tua. If he's not looking good at left guard, Patrick Paul, we got to move you to right guard. Patrick Paul, we might have to put you at left guard. Patrick Paul, we might have to put you at right tackle. And Austin Jackson, we might have to move you to left guard again. And Caden Proctor, you're going to left tackle. Listen to me. It sounds crazy. It sounds stupid. But think about what our regime is, how better talent evaluators they are, who they drafted at the top position in their first draft ever with the team, the position they drafted, and what they already said on how they're not going to move him to the right side. That's a strong indicator that they're not going to be missed with this guy. So if he doesn't look good at left, he's going to be at left tackle. If he doesn't look good at left guard, he's definitely not going to center. And it could be all smoke and mirrors. He could be going on right guard. He might go to right tackle. But all I'm saying is all of the positions on this team are under a battle. And don't get it twisted.
I'd say except for Achan. I think Achan's the only one.
That's what I'm trying to listen to me. And
Brooks.
don't think because he got
Brooks, Achan,
extended,
and Brewer.
Joe,
There's
because
not a real
Brewer,
competition at center.
because of the scheme, yeah, Brewer is safe. But let me tell you something. If Meyer in practice looks better with the pads on, that's a tradable contract. That's
Also,
a tradable contract.
let me mention this real quick
we
with
need
the center.
depth. We barely have depth as it is. We got to keep those guys.
Yeah, but you could always trade Brewer, get a nice draft pick for him, and find a backup center somewhere. Because
we got
Mayer is an absolute dog.
Oh, you're saying Brewers has the tradable contract, not Mayer.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
I would agree with you, but I mean, we still need that depth piece, though. Even if it was this year, we got to get someone else.
And giving some of these guys, believe it or not, I'm sorry, Mr. Park, some of the because Mark comes in, and I'll be honest, Mark, the Bills fan, he does know what he's talking about. I just like to push back against him because he's a Bills fan. But the truth is, all of the contracts we extended are easily tradable. They really are. If Jacob Rodriguez becomes the star middle linebacker, that's his job. That's who this regime tied themselves to. We can still trade Jordan Brooks, as much as we love him. You know who else could be traded? Devon Achane.
I agree with you. All three of those, but within a year, we could be moving those guys.
No. I'm not saying, and obviously, come on, not all three will be traded either. I'm saying, like, it's possible based on position battle. The safest one might be Aaron Brewer. And the reason I say that, you know what I mean? But
there's not a second center on the field to prove
exactly. Himself. But Jacob Rodriguez, he could go up there, look like a star on day one. Hey, Jordan Brooks, you don't look good at outside linebacker.
Hey, Jordan Brooks,
and Ollie Gordon, and if Ollie Gordon pops off, and A-Chain isn't the receiving back or a receiver like we think he could be, he might get traded.
Yeah, unfortunately, that would drop his trade value quite a bit by that time, though. If we weren't getting maximum.
These guys got signed, but do they have outs in their contracts before a year or two? Or what's the outs, like for Brooks? Did we know that?
The guaranteed money is all in the first 2 years of the contracts, I believe. Or most of it is.
So it's an out after the second year.
And but they're not like exceedingly high contracts, so they do feel pretty tradable. The team that trades for them would only be on the hook for like 1 full year.
Also, too, does anybody know about Jim Boniface? I don't know if I'm saying that right. His name is Jim Boniface.
Oh, the lineman?
Okay. Well, they got him listed as our third center. He's a rookie center out of state.
I think it's more likely that Sawyer and DJ Campbell and even like Preeb end up being like those additional guys. I don't know if any of them could play center.
We still have that third wave, like free agency. Once these guys get cut after the preseason and training camp.
About that. You're right about that.
Point. I don't think we're going to be active though. I think they got what they want to work with.
I think we're going to be active, hella active.
Well, no, because we wasn't that you, Joe, said that one of your concerns was depth?
Yeah.
And you know where I think they're going to be active at, Joe? I'm sorry, Mr. Park.
No, go ahead.
On the Green Bay Packers roster, when the Green Bay Packers start cutting some of their players to get to 53.
Okay, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, I think they've already made their depth moves at offensive line with Charlie Heck, Sawyer, and then drafting DJ Campbell. That's why.
Yeah, but if they have a lineman over there they like that the Packers randomly cut that Sully and Hafley didn't expect, boom, quick decision right there. And then what are the Packer guys going to want to do? Hell yeah, I love Hafley and Sully. I'm going to Miami with them. See what I'm saying? They're going to get a one-way ticket over here. And
they've made.
What you said, Joe? I couldn't hear you.
I haven't disagreed with the free agency moves that they've made yet, except for maybe Jalen Reagor, but there was almost no expense in that. So
And even that move, you can't even argue it, right? Because
it's like
you're
I
bringing.
like that they're taking those shots because even
Yeah,
though
he has drop issues.
12-person
So
receiver
what?
room,
He
it's that preseason. If we still have, I don't know how far you have to cut it down, but we may see all 12.
I think the rules change. I think it's after week 3 you got one shot now, but I could be wrong. But I did read a report not too long ago, and I believe that's what I read. That it's now it's preseason. Like I don't know if it's entering week 3 or if it's actually after week 3, the final preseason game, that you just go from one shot to another, from 93 to 53. I don't think it's no longer 93 to 75 and then 75 to I think they changed it.
They changed that. Okay.
Yeah, I believe they changed it.
I mean, I could see them cutting like Taj Washington or AJ Henning, pretty early on. But there's 12 guys in the receiver room right now. So I think preseason
we got a lot of
different names out there.
Roster that
got a lot of cornerbacks too
for a while and not really done anything with opportunities. I think the safest one would probably be Theo Weiss.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see stuff out of all of them except for like Todd Washington. Pretty much the only one I'm not curious about, and Donovan McCulley because I don't know who the fuck that is.
Yeah, we keep 1 and 6.
Yeah, I think we'll keep a 7th,
and
especially with Chris Bell being questionable.
Like on one of Pete's shows the other day, I think we were talking about do we keep do we take that extra running back, or do we take the tight end or the wide receiver? And it's I think we roll with 3 running backs, and then we take that extra wide receiver or tight end, either one, so that we can know what we got there. Because the running backs, we know what we got. It's Devon Achane and Ollie Gordon. Jalen Wright's just there. He's probably another one of those pieces that are going to be on the trading block this year, in my opinion.
Well,
if you you said it the other day, if you go deeper than 3 running backs in a season, you're fucked anyway.
Well, you know what? This I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but I'm gonna mention this. When it comes down to our running back room, with our first with A-Chain, Gordon, and Jalen Wright, guess what? The other 3 running backs actually had the same. What's the word? Have the same measurements as the starting running backs. You got a wide receiver that has the same measurement as A-Chain. They got one that has the same measurement as Gordon, and you got one that has the same measurement as Jalen Wright. So I'm just saying, I don't know if that's just a coincidence. I know we're not gonna keep all of them, but there are. But all those running backs do have the similar measurement.
Do you think the accident that recently happened to Kyle Shanahan has any effect for the San Francisco 49ers this year, or do you think that?
What accident?
You seen that, bro? You saw that?
That's a week 2
Kyle
dub,
Shanahan,
bro.
On
Revenge
July 14th,
on Chris
Kyle
Forster.
Shanahan
What
got
happened?
into a really bad accident, broke some ribs, had to get a bunch of stitches, plastered his face up, broke his hand. Yeah, got in a really bad
broke
accident.
his nose. He broke his
Right
nose.
now they got their assistant coach running things over there in San Francisco.
Ex-Dolphins offensive line cokehead Chris Forster.
Oh my goodness!
Maybe he'll start playing Smash Mouth football.
He was the guy. He was the lineman that got caught with the chick doing cocaine in the building.
Forster.
Chris Forster.
That man was saying, he was saying, "I love her."
So,
man, imagine having your mistakes exposed to the world like that.
Do y'all think that now turns
terrible.
week 2 into a win?
Crazy, dude.
Or what
No,
are
he's
thoughts on that?
intro coach.
Because don't forget.
I think we're gonna leave. I think California.
Coming from
I think
Australia. They have a week 1 game in Australia.
Are gonna take over. It's the California takeover, Cat. Yep, it's the California takeover, Cat. We're gonna leave California 2-0. Heading into the Hard Rock back at
Mike
home.
Evans is going for 2 touchdowns
on 8 catches with us. On the sideline full of cast.
What did Negative Joe say?
So Mike Evans is getting 2 touchdowns, 2 red zone touchdowns against us.
Buddy called you negative, Joe.
I thought the same thing. I know you ain't call that man Negative Joe.
That's his name.
Hey, I think we'll get a couple wins this year. The Niners definitely is not one of them. The Raiders might be one of
Dude,
them.
you don't hear what CatndaHat just said? They don't even
Coming
have
back
their
from
coach
Australia.
right now. That guy can't talk. He's banged up. But one thing I do want to talk about is, you noticed CatndaHat told y'all this accident happened July 14th. Look at the date when we find out the breaking news, July 25th today. Why did it take so long in today's world to hit the air?
They want it to be known.
No, did they try to hide it?
Sound like they're trying to hide it.
Why did it take so long?
Maybe he was.
I want y'all to
The other driver wasn't injured.
What you'll see.
Anytime somebody crashes or anything, we usually know the same day.
No, they said no foul play. No type of Tiger Woods
was
stuff. No
not driving.
No Tiger Woods.
He was clean. Yeah, he was.
But yeah, no, it is something to think about.
That's
though,
funny.
Because we get what you're saying. We get what you're saying.
It's not funny, but
it's just
Tony Romo
funny to
wasn't
think about because could that affect how the 49ers play this year? Like, injuries are already happening to the 49ers and the season hasn't even started, and now it's happening to the coach. So they go to Australia week 1. They come back to California to host the Dolphins in week 2. I mean, you're gonna have a coach that's not necessarily at 100%. He may not even be on the sideline for that game. So, I mean, week 2 could have just got a little bit easier for the Miami Dolphins. I'm just saying. Like, that's one of those possibilities. That's one of those things where I'm like, you never know what's going to happen by the time the Dolphins got to play these teams. Just like when I heard Joe, right? Go to play you heard Joe CatndaHat 15. They may not have a Josh Jacobs. I really believe that the Miami Dolphins have the advantage when playing the Green Bay Packers in Week 15 in Green Bay because for one, I feel like Jeff Hafley has the advantage over Mike LaFleur. Because he's worked with Mike LaFleur. He knows how.
I agree with you, Kat. I think we're going 4-0 versus the NFC North.
Kansas City Chiefs.
I think we're going 4-0 versus the NFC North this year.
In Week 3, ladies and gentlemen, it could be the normal Patrick Mahomes that comes out here and whoops our ass, but it could also be a busted up Patrick Mahomes that's still recovering, and they're leaning a lot on Kenneth Walker, and it's all about shutting down the run game. Week 4. It could be Kyler Murray. It could be J.J. McCarthy. Who knows? Either way, neither one of them can get the ball to Justin Jefferson. We know that. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of things that can happen between now and the time the ball snaps when we play each of these games. And our season can easily go from 4-13 to 10-7 just because the other team has a coach that gets into a car accident. Has a running back that gets arrested.
Well,
a player that gets traded.
Well, I'm gonna say this even with our division. I'm gonna tell you the truth. When it comes down to our division kind of up in the air because I'm not gonna really say that. I mean, right now I can say Buffalo can be at the top, but that's not what's the word? That's not concrete. I think anybody in our division can be at the top. Our team, the Jets, the Patriots. I mean, our division to me is up for grabs.
Our division is
that's how I look
in
at our
shambles
division
right now. We don't know what the Buffalo Bills are going to look like running a new defensive scheme with a new head coach over there. Regardless of Josh Allen, we don't know what the Patriots are going to look like having to go through and play a real schedule this year with a coach that.
Allen.
With a coach
let me tell you a stat of Josh Allen.
Vrabel's going to be a shell of himself.
All the secrets that the team he's getting ready to play against are doing. Like, they're getting ready to run yada, 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 and yada, yada. You know what I mean? Like, that he was, like, sitting there, like, when he was hanging out with Diana Rossini, getting little insider notes on the teams that he was going to be facing last year. He's not going to have that. While he was insider, that's right.
Insider.
He was inside. Yep, exactly.
Inside her information.
But let me tell you something. Y'all thought I was joking about Josh Allen not being a good game manager. That's the reason why he loses the games. He's not a game manager. Are you guys aware that Josh Allen is 0-7 in overtime? And his last one was versus the Denver Broncos when he had 4 turnovers in a playoff game, and his last turnover of the game was in overtime when all you had to do was drive down the field, get a field goal, and send your team to the AFC Championship game, Josh Allen and the Bills, and you failed to do that. And you're 0-7 in those games, and you don't know how to close out games. You know what Josh Allen is if he was a baseball pitcher? He'll be pitching a no-hitter for 8 innings. 8 innings. His team will be winning 4-0. And in the bottom of the ninth, Josh Allen's arm winks out, and he allows 5 unheard of runs, single bases, all of them. Bing, 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 bing. 5-4, you lose the game because you're not a game manager. Josh Allen, bro, I love that guy to death. He's a highlight, regular season, fantasy. He's going to still be that guy, but don't expect him to win the big games.
Why we have to.
Don't expect him to ever win a Super Bowl. He's a choke artist.
Because we never looked at Dan Marino like the reason that we lost those games. Like Josh Allen. He may be the reason they win a lot of games, but he's also the reason that they lose a lot of games too. And if I remember Dan Marino, that was never the case with Dan Marino. It wasn't. We never looked at a game that we lost and looked at Dan Marino and be like, he was the reason that we lost that game. It was always either because we didn't have defense, we didn't have any kind of run game to go around it. That's why we got to stop. I know that I'm the one that brought out that Josh Allen is the Buffalo Bills Dan Marino. But now that I look back and I look at how he plays, I got to stop doing it because Dan Marino never lost us games. He just didn't have a complete team around him. Josh Allen has had a complete team around him. He's just been the reason that they lose games.
Cat. That's another one that wasn't a good game manager, bro. Dan Marino wasn't a good game manager, bro. It is what it is. We got to get over it. It was It was a failed attempt of trying to do it the John Elway way. Forget about it. That's not happening no more. Dan Marino, he didn't suck, but he just wasn't a closer. He wasn't a winner. He didn't have that factor in him. Like, I get it. Football fans love stats. But let me tell you what changed all the football fans. It's fantasy football. Because stats give you points. And since the stats give you points, and that's how you win in fantasy football, you tend to believe that because your fantasy lineups are good and all these players are giving you all these points, you don't even realize that they're not even winning games. You don't even care no more that they're not game managers. They're not closers. They're not smart football players.
The Cardinals, bro. The Cardinals were putting up numbers, but they kept losing.
Fantasy football has honestly, like, changed the minds of what football is, bro. That's why I keep telling people, Jalen Hurts, that dude could have 2,600 yards like Sharif was saying. Sharif could be spot on. 2,600 passing yards, 1,100 rushing yards, 15 passing touchdowns, and 15 rushing touchdowns. Malik is capable of that with a 4.3 speed, bro. That's 30 touchdowns. Nobody knows how we're going to win games. But I have an idea. with the young talent we have on the roster.
Defense. We're gonna win games off of defense, and that's one of the things that I've noticed. Top
5 running game, bro. Listen
all
to
we
me
gotta
now.
do, all we gotta do,
bro.
all we gotta do is go 4-0 against the NFC North teams. Like Jeff Hafley knows he's gonna do it. I believe 2 of those NFC North games are at home.
Bears
and if we go 8-0 at home and we go 4-0 versus the NFC North, I believe that's a minimum of 10 wins right there. That's 10 wins right there. 4-0 versus the NFC North, and 8-0 at home.
2 of those NFC North games are at home. We got the Bears and the Lions. Both of those games are a home game.
They're going to be wanting IVs by halftime.
That's why that's 10 wins, Cap. It's 10 wins. You got to go 8-0 at home, and you got to go 4-0 in the NFC North. That brings you to 10 wins.
It's going to be hot, bro. Have them come here. Have them come here. I dare them.
Chicago here. Chicago is really the game on our schedule that worries me the most. Them Chicago Bears are something, and then the way they play football, it's just the way
trust
they
their quarterback,
play football, bro. Right?
I think he'll throw it
they
up.
play smarter than their opponent. And what I mean by that is because, like, all throughout the first 3 quarters, like, they're sitting here and they're wearing down the defense. They're using the offense in a way to where it's like, yes, we're making it look like we're taking big shots and we're completing big gains downfield, but really all it is us wearing the defense down. We're just wearing the defense down because we know that we're conditioned to go all 4 quarters, 5 if we need to, but we're going to win in the 4th quarter when that defense is gassed. And that's how the Chicago Bears played all year last year. That's why they had 8 4th-quarter comebacks, because they sat there. And in the first 3 quarters, they would just wear the defense down. And then 4th quarter rolls around, and those 40-yard shots Caleb Williams will take downfield, it's easier to connect them now when you have 5-10 yards of separation compared to just 1 yard of separation. And that's how they play, and I think that's how we're gonna play.
I can't wait for training camp clips to come out. I can't wait for all this drama to come out with the position battles when Quinn Ewers starts popping off. Go ahead, Mr. Pop.
No, I'm saying this that Cap talk, because he's been trying to talk.
No. I'm just saying, like, yeah, we got to play man. If we're going to play like those type of teams, we got to play compress. We can't play zone no more. You saw what happened when we play zone.
Okay,
all I know is that this Miami Dolphin fan base is divided right now. Both sides are making the same argument, making the exact same argument to prove their point. Oh, we have 43 one-year deals. There's no way that we're going to be good this year. But we have 43 one-year deals that are chasing a carrot. All of them can come out here and work together and light up the league. But we have so many rookies.
But how do you feel about those negative guys? How do you feel about those negative guys?
Pete. That's yes, bro.
That's why I'm here, Pete, because I'm the guy in the middle. Is that what your title is?
The fan base is divided.
What's the title?
Let's fix that.
What's the title of the show?
Because if you think about it, Pete, both sides of the fan base are making the same exact argument to prove their point.
First of all, there's nothing we're going to tell negative Joe that's going to change his mind right now.
Pete,
these negative guys, these guys that don't want to be high on the team, they don't want to hear what we have to say. They don't care about it.
The point of
they don't care about
the show today is not to prove either side wrong. It's to prove that we're both making the same argument, and the end goal is sustained success throughout the next 10 years to become a dynasty. Because at the end of the day, the 2026 season outcome doesn't matter, right? We're both sitting here making the same arguments to prove our point.
Who's gonna believe in this crap?
Then we
If
get a
this
first
thing
round pick.
blows up in our face and we only win 3 games.
But no,
we're gonna be making fun of Troy Aikman. We're gonna be making fun of Troy Aikman.
Bro, we know.
We're gonna be making fun of Stephen Ross.
What that
this whole crap.
Like when Sully walked in and had that interview with Troy Aikman and Stephen Ross and Dan Marino, we know exactly what that interview looked like, and that interview looked like this: like, hey, I can't guarantee you that we're going to have a good year in 2026. I can't guarantee you we're going to have a good year in year 1. Maybe we do, but I can't guarantee that, because guess what? I got to get rid of Tua. That's going to be a big, giant cap hit, so I'm not going to be able to bring in valuable players in order to do that. I'm going to have to bring in a bunch of one-year deal guys that we don't know how they're going to perform on the field. We're just going to have to take our luck with what we can evaluate in player performance. And we don't know what it's going to turn out. So if you trust me, though, in 5 years, you'll have a dynasty in place. And you might already have a Super Bowl win by that point. But you have to give me this first year to know it could be a 3-14 season, or it could be a 10-7 season. It could be either one of those. But I guarantee you, through that season, we're going to be moving forward, and the future is very bright for the Miami Dolphins. And that's how that interview went. And that's why I sit here and say that, yes, we're both sitting here, both sides of the argument are sitting here and using the same exact arguments to prove their point. We have inexperience. Well, that inexperience, you don't know how that inexperience is going to perform, right? It could be good, it could be bad. We have a first-year head coach. We don't know how he's going to perform. It could be good. It could be bad. We have 43 one-year deal guys. It could be good or it could be bad. But this year doesn't matter. So why are we sitting here being divided?
Forget about trying to sit in the middle, Cat. That's the problem I have with people.
I just want to divide.
Everyone that wants to sit in the middle. You got to tell me what you believe is going to happen.
We're going to have much better football to watch than what we've had over the last 5 years. That's 100% fact. I believe that we're going to play football much like the Dallas Cowboys, right? And if you look at how the Dallas Cowboys have played football for the last couple years, it's been fun, exciting football. They've unfortunately, they've lost games by very short margins, but they were very competitive in all of those games. And that's how I feel like the Dolphins are going to be. I feel like we're going to be very competitive in every game that we play, but we could lose by a point. We could lose by a field goal. Or we could win by a point, and we could win by a field goal.
That's those type of takes, boy, I tell you. I tell you. They just want to sit on the table. They ain't bring no food to the table, Mr. Pop.
We could also lose by 5 touchdowns a game and no one would be surprised.
If this season goes the way CatndaHat thinks it's going to go, and it could go both ways. When a season is going to go both ways, it's only one way it's going to go. It's going to go down. It's going to go down. So that means you don't fully believe, Cat. You're lying on the internet. You don't really believe what you're saying. You're trying to sit in the middle as Mr. Nice Guy. You're not Dudley Do-Wrong, my guy. You're not the one reporting the news and the injuries. You're out here as a Dolphin fan giving out Dolphin perspectives on what you believe the team is going to be. And you want to try to sit here and convince us that you want to sit in the middle and not pick a side and act like you're not on the side when your stream is calling out the divide in the fan base.
No, because I'm trying to point out that we both want the same thing. Both sides want the same thing. So you're telling me? So you're telling
No,
me?
we don't.
So you're telling
No,
me
we
you don't
don't.
want a
Get it
sustained
through your
success?
thick
You're telling me you
skull.
don't want
We don't
sustained
want the same
success
thing,
in this
Cat in the Hat.
organization?
We're talking about the losing part. All that nice stuff you want to add, yeah, we're going to be competitive until the last second of the game, and then we lose by 1 point. I get it. You're trying to say it nice. It don't matter how you lose in this league, big dog. By 1 point or 20 points, a loss is going to hurt. And when those losses stack up,
I guarantee
nothing is
you,
going to
bro.
matter.
I guarantee
we
you.
lost
I guarantee you
15
right now.
games.
I can guarantee
We
you.
lost
Hold on, Pete, because I
15
can
games by
guarantee you
1
right
point.
now, if we would have
You're still
lost
2 and 15,
the
bro.
games that we lost last year by 20 points, if we would have lost them by only 3 points, by only a field goal, this year right now would look completely different. We probably would still have Mike McDaniel and Tua if our season didn't look like games where teams like Cleveland Browns were beating us 30-6, 24-10. Bro, how many times last year did we fail to even get 10
this
points?
Season was almost like every season.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Imagine if we
under
would have
Mike
only
McDaniel.
lost those games by a field goal last year. It wouldn't have been so much turnaround. We wouldn't have had the turnaround this offseason that we had this year, because those losses last year were so horrendous.
What are you? Stop that! Bro, we could have lost all the games by 1 point.
I don't think so.
It would have still been the same outcome.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think that if we would have performed better and Tua wouldn't have led the league in interceptions, I think we'd still be looking at a Mike McDaniel Tua team right now. Yeah, Chris Greer would have been gone, but I still think everyone else still would have been here. I think it was because of how bad they performed and how that organization. Because you also got to think too.
This
you also got to think too. If we weren't losing as bad as we was,
you know why this fan
all the
base
problems
is
that were
divided?
going on in the locker room wouldn't have been so apparent. They wouldn't have been brought out as much, because like, if Tua wasn't leading the league in interceptions, he wouldn't have had to throw other people under the bus. Let's do it. That's what we're
going to break this whole fan base divided thing crap down right now. We're going to break it down. Simple by simple. Let me ask you guys a question. The mass majority, the large crowd, this is what matters. It's what the large mouths, the loudest, are saying. 2-3 years ago, 2 seasons ago, what was the mass majority of the fan base saying?
You don't know. You don't know ball.
We don't know ball. Good point, Cap for life. Wonder why they were saying we don't know ball. Because Tua was popping off. Things seemed like they were trending in the right direction. So the majority of the fan base was really happy under Tua. Then Tua stabbed them in the back. Week 1 versus the Colts, and they didn't want to support him no more. They turned their backs on Tua. Now, the fan base is divided the opposite way, because the loud positive fan base now became the loud negative fan base. And all because of Tua, Cat in the Hat, they want to carry over the same negativity and sentiments to this year. All because they were wrong on Tua. Now, fast forward. We fired Mike McDaniel. These Tuaneers, they're happy about that. We cut Tua. The Tuaneers that turned their back on Tua now, they're happy about that. We hired Sully, all the moves we made, Troy Aikman, everything. The fan base at the time, we love it. Everything is sweet. Everything is happening. Now, the draft happens. We pass on Ruben Bain and Mekhi Lemon, and it was a disaster. Notice how the pattern. Once we didn't get the pick they wanted in the draft, now they were happy, now they're sad. Now the season is going to be a dumpster fire. Now all this crap is happening. The fan base turned their back on Sully. We got Malik Willis. They didn't like that move. So there's a big divide based on the demise and the downfall of Tua Tagovailoa. It's like they're making it seem, this divided fan base, right, that is so loud and negative, and they want to spew, oh, Vegas. Vegas had us over 9.5 wins last year. Were they right? Were they right last year? So what makes them to be so right this year? See my point? It's all dragged upon. Oh, and Joe yesterday. Joe was getting me upset. Joe had me as thirsty as a brown fox in the desert yesterday with the same salary dead cap crap. Hello? We already had a talented team that was winning games last season with a bad injury-prone team.
What were you so mad at? What take did I make about the salary cap that you were so mad at that because
you're making
Seattle
it seem
was,
like it's such a big deal? And yeah,
you were
Seattle
saying
is
because
only
Seattle
90
was
million.
fourth worst
Yeah.
in last year, that
And that's
we
all.
shouldn't be worried about our dead cap this year is ridiculous because the amounts are the key difference there.
That's
If
not no
fourth in
different.
the if fourth in the league, it doesn't matter when it's 80
The
million
number
or whatever they had versus our 180 million. We're more than double what they were dealing with.
doesn't matter. That does not
More than
matter. You're
double.
still they want to move the goalpost and put a value to it. You still
That's the important part, though.
that
You're
is
looking
not
at
the important
ranking in the league where the important part is the amount. Some
part.
years,
The
you could
Seahawks
have some
were
years,
a
and it's
top
becoming more of a
4.
trend where teams
The
do what
Seahawks were a
we're doing,
top
where they have a
4.
lot of damage.
The Seahawks were a top 4 dead cap hit team. They relied on their draft picks and a free agent veteran quarterback to hit. That was it. They had a young coach
Doesn't matter that
entering
they were
Mac
top 4.
McDonald, entering his second year with the team. He was still young.
Does it matter if you're top 4 in rushing yards in the league? If your rushing amount per game
Exactly.
is average, doesn't that
If
matter?
you're at the bottom, if you're 28th in the league in rushing yards allowed, but you're not 32nd, you're still at the bottom of the league. It doesn't matter that 32nd
Yeah,
allowed
but no, it
300
does
yards
matter because
rushing
it's
per
all
game,
comparative.
and you
It's
allowed
comparative. You're using a
150
comparative
yards per
stat
game.
when that's not what's
You're
important.
at a
The
spot.
important
You're
part
at a
is the
spot.
value.
When you're at a spot, you're at a spot.
Let's say
That's
you
where
have
you're
a
rated
year
at.
where not that many people had extreme amounts of tackles, and you're fourth in the league in tackling, and it was 90 tackles. Is that like saying, oh, that's the same as, someone else having 150 tackles the next year and they're fourth in the league? It's way different.
1,000%. Leading
Way
the
different.
league and being top 5 out of percent. You can't do that.
Comparative
You
doesn't
can't.
matter when
Every
it's not
season
against
is
each other.
different. Every season is different, Joe.
Playing each other in salaries. This is an individual metric. You use the value here.
And you count
What
on your
we're
player
dealing with,
development.
whether it's
And you
first in the league or
and you,
fifth in the league, is more than double the dead cap of what the Seahawks are dealing with.
Like I was saying
they don't
earlier,
want to hear the truth, CatndaHat and Cap. The Seahawks
That doesn't
were
mean we
4th
can't
in the
get out of
league in
that
dead
hole,
cap,
but it's not the same hole.
hit,
It's a
and
much
made it
bigger
to the
hole.
Super
I already
Bowl
talked about this
in
a
1
bit
year.
earlier anyways. Like it's literally just a number. It doesn't necessarily mean that like your salary cap doesn't determine how you're going to perform on the field. Your performance on the field determines that, and then that determines your salary cap. But even after that, you could get a big contract and not live up to the expectations of your salary cap. So at the end of the day, it's just a number, and it doesn't mean anything because it from year to year the salary cap is just going to go up anyways. Just like 2 years ago, the Denver
but every
Broncos
year is
had the
different.
highest dead cap salary in the league, and now here the Dolphins are the highest dead cap salary in the league. And 2 years from now, some other team is going to have that crown. So it's just a number. If you find the right guys that work together,
But Cat in the Hat. But it is just a number because I'm gonna give you an example. Joe, let me tell you, Joe. Since you think the dead cap and the salary cap hurt us this season from building a team, right? You believe weak positions are on our team are cornerback and receiver. I've heard you say it. Do you still stand on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so in free agents, hold on real quick, Cat. In this free agency, because like Cat in the Hat pointed out, every year is different, right? This free agency that just passed, who did we miss out on because we didn't have money to get that cornerback or wide receiver that was available in free agency?
That we could have gotten anyways?
That's the answer. These salary cap experts need to answer us moving forward now, Cat. Since y'all want to bring up that we have salary cap implications, we can't build a team with the dead cap. Who was it that we were supposed to sign? Who was it that we were supposed to get in free agency that would have hit us and helped us become a better team right now, Joe? Go ahead. Let Chat GKP help you out now.
And at the end of the day, there weren't any. There's really no answer to that question. There's really no answer.
That's funny, man.
Offense or defense?
Isn't that real though, Joe? Did we miss out on? Did we not have enough money to sign a Darrell Revis that was available in free agency? Oh wait, Joe, are you gonna bring up Snead's name? Old?
And because
no. I want y'all to name me that expensive free agent that could have came in that we didn't have salary for.
And you also got to keep in mind that player also had to fit the mold that Sully was looking for too. So a young guy under 30 going into his second contract that plays 4 quarters.
No. Forget the mold stuff. When you're a top free agent in the league, a top 5 at your position, you're going to get paid by everybody. There's no mold. You're a top 5 available free agent.
But yeah,
the teams need to bid for you.
There wasn't no guys.
They need a bid
there wasn't
for you.
No guys like that.
Where's that guy we missed?
So the dead cap that we're suffering, we had to do it anyways. Like so, it just worked out. In our AJ Brown, though, come on, AJ Brown,
like Mike Evans. Like Mike Evans, like Romeo Doubs.
That's another one.
I mean, it didn't necessarily have to be receiver,
didn't
right?
Mike Evans sign a one-year contract?
And Mike Evans
particularly
signed a one-year deal?
29.
He wasn't. Mike Evans isn't no top dog wideout in free agency that we missed out on.
No, but we still wouldn't have been able to be in the conversation anyway.
Mike Evans was not going to change anything.
And if we were, it would be an irresponsible spending. Because we're not. If you look at it, we still have a lot of dead. It's not an insane amount, but we still have a lot of dead money next year too.
I can't wait to kill True Fin Fan with this one. I want to hear what True Fin Fan has to say about this one soon. Go ahead.
Right, but we could have looked at like Tariq Woolen. You know, there's corners that could have come into this defensive backfield too. They could have gone ahead and tried to make some moves this year.
That guy, right? Tariq?
And I did want Tariq Woolen a lot. So go ahead, Joe.
Well, I'm just saying I didn't necessarily disagree with like us hitting the free agency this year or not. I just think your point about the ranking in the league mattering is the wrong way to look at it. It definitely is about the percentage of your cap that is dead is the important part. Whether you're 5th in the league, 1st in the league, 10th in the league, it's the value is an important piece there, not the ranking in the league. That's my point. I don't disagree that we can climb out of this hole. It's just a much bigger hole than these other teams had to climb out of that
Pete,
we're referencing. Just have to keep that.
We were talking about this earlier though, and I think we came to the conclusion that if the Dolphins can go above 500 this year, we kind of kill that salary cap, dead cap narrative anyways.
Yes. If it's anything above 500, people are going to be looking at this like this is how we rebuild a team. I was saying this before you popped up here, Pete. This whole take everything from Green Bay kind of approach, like copy and paste. I think if we prove that we can like build a team quickly with this, I think a lot of others are going to start doing that. They're going to start pulling, an assistant GM and a coach and, some key players from, say, the Chiefs or the Eagles or any of these other teams that have been in the playoffs, most of the time the last 5-6 years. Like we
That's
did
why
with
I
Green
told
Bay.
y'all.
I hope not.
We're only
I
gonna
hope
have
not.
Bobby
I hope
Slowick
not.
for one season.
That too. Like if this
I hope
offense
that
clicks with
he
nothing,
realizes he probably is
he's gonna
not
have a
head
gig
coach
somewhere.
material and does a Spagnolia and kind of just rides it out with us as long as possible. Because I did the research, Joe. Remember we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. I did the research, and he could with Super Bowls and playoff wins and the bonuses that you get from all of that, he could still make a hefty salary without having to be a head coach somewhere.
Yes.
100%. Those are
that doesn't count against the salary cap, right? So that's really just as much as the owner wants to
salary cap. And that's why Spagnolia, offensive coordinator.
Wouldn't that be nice, right? To not have to worry about losing your coordinator and having to retool.
They've been having
every 2 years
to deal with a new offensive coordinator over there, and we've seen how it affects them. I think he's had a little bit more
Herbert has had that,
but
right?
yeah, he's still had turnover.
Herbert has had that for his whole
every
career.
couple years. It's a new offensive coordinator. But I think he might be set for the next 3 years with Mike McDaniel over there.
Yeah. I think it's just we'll see it. It's a different McDaniel over there where he doesn't have to be in charge. I think
he's the OC.
So I really
see a better McDaniel.
not having to focus on anything else besides
and now he's in a
getting
position
creative
to where he can
plays
be
that nobody
with the
can catch on
now,
to,
right? And it's not
each week.
bad. It's not. It's okay for him.
Yeah.
He's in a position
I think
to
it's
where
funny.
it's okay
Adam
for him
Gates
to
is
be
next
friends
to him
with
too
with the players now. You know.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up because do you remember how much we were hyping that shit up when he was coming here? The media was too. Everyone was saying they were saying this is how you connect with these guys. You have someone that they're not resenting, right? Because they was fresh off the whole stuff with Tua and Flores, and the league has been kind of going that way anyway. Everyone was all hyped about
Players
this
coach,
cool cat McDaniel going down to Miami. Yep.
And you know what? And I'm gonna say something. If the negative fans are right and we have a bad season, and let's say late in the season we do that switch to Quinn Ewers and he looks good, there's a possibility Hafley gets fired and Slowick is
I don't think so. Bro,
our new head coach.
As much as I
because we don't want to lose
and
him.
I'm fighting for him to be our offensive coordinator, I don't know if he can be a head coach, bro. I don't know, man. He just doesn't seem like the type of guy that can be a head coach. He doesn't seem like he's assertive enough. From the interviews, from the interviews that I've seen with him, he seems like a smart guy, and he seems like he's pretty straightforward. But he also doesn't seem like the type of guy that's gonna put his foot down when it needs to be put down. And I believe that's what we got in Jeff Hafley. I could be wrong. I
disagree with that. I mean, he got in trouble. He got in trouble for going off on CJ Stroud.
He did get fired,
the rookie of the year.
Him and CJ Stroud were butting heads, and CJ Stroud wanted to do things his own way, and he wasn't really listening to Bobby Slowick, and of course Houston went with CJ Stroud. Yeah.
He was patting that ball. He wasn't getting rid of the ball.
Isn't that the same thing going on with is it Joe Burrows or what is it? Joe Boros? Is it Joe
It
Boros
was Lamar.
that's having the
It
problem
was
with that
Lamar
coach? I
Jackson.
keep
It
thinking
was
it's
Lamar
a
Jackson.
quarterback
And there's another thing.
in the
They went
NFL.
Lamar Jackson
It was
over John Harbaugh.
Jackson. Okay. Yeah.
Because Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh were button heads for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as apparent. It wasn't like it wasn't on the news every day, but like if you paid attention to their pressers, you could tell that they were button heads. But I think it's going on in Cincinnati too.
When is
So we'll see.
Is Lamar available
we'll
next year?
Like they have the opportunity to give him a contract this year, an extension. So we'll see.
2028, Joe, not next year.
Oh,
He'll be available 2028.
So let's say that we do like a 2-year trial on Malik Willis. Not working. Would you guys, even at that age, would you want to?
I think that would depend on what else is available out there for us, right? Because it's like you're bringing him in, and I think that would also depend on how he looks this year too, right? Because like he dealt with some injuries last year. He's been dealing with injuries for the last couple of years, so you're kind of want to see how he deals with those injuries. Because yes, he's great, but if he's only going to be available for 10 games out of the season, like how great is he really? So 32.
How old would he be in 2028?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like you're taking a big risk,
oh, boy.
but there's high reward. Like the possibility for high reward is there. You know what I mean? Like he instantly makes you a Super Bowl contender if he stays healthy and plays like Lamar Jackson. But at the same time, it's like, can he stay healthy for the whole season and play like Lamar Jackson and make you a Super Bowl contender?
Yeah, because if he stay healthy, got to keep one thing in mind. He's coming home. And by coming home, that's going to really be a good way for him to finish his career. So in other words, what I'm trying to say, he will probably want to stay healthy and really ball out because I'm coming home now. I'm back in my hometown where I came.
No.
What about Joe Burrow?
He hasn't had enough success, and he's had pieces over there. He's had pieces over there. If I'm telling you, bro, if Lamar Jackson had a Jamar,
so
Chase,
even with him being somewhat young. That's interesting. I think a lot of people would probably disagree with you on that, Cat. I'm not sure if I would or not, because for me, it's the injury risk. Like he's had a lot of injuries, so for me, that's like it kind of has like shades of Tua, but he's also got like. Oh, he's got Hill. He's got Hill. He's also he's also he's young, like by next year, what is he gonna be, 27 or something? He's still got like a lot of years ahead of him.
Joe Burrow is gonna be like 29 next year.
Oh, is he? So even that still, he's on the right side of 30.
Joe Burrow came out of college old. He was like 24 when he came out of LSU.
I don't think he'll be.
But
it's on the right
side of 30. Between those two quarterbacks, if they're both, let's say, I know they're not the same age, but if they were, both of them at 32, both of them in 2028, both of them available for us in free agency, I think I'll choose Joe Burrow.
That's a toughie.
Because now you're talking about an older quarterback that can pass out of the pocket. You're going to be concerned paying Lamar Jackson, a 32-year-old. He's lost speed. He's at higher. I know Joe Burrow has been more injury prone, but to have a higher risk of injury, I believe Lamar Jackson has higher risk of getting injured than Joe Burrow.
I think Joe Burrow is,
and that's every season.
Chase.
Yeah, because of the play style.
I think he needs that big time wide receiver.
Ooh.
That's not true. That's not true, bro.
Ooh,
That man had go back to his games.
hot take.
Jamar Chase was injured. He missed a lot of games. He was playing a season with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase out. He was throwing to, Ayosha, whatever that guy's name, Mike Gesicki. He was throwing to, I think, some guy called Trey Burton, or the other receiver. Well, I'm trying to remember his name. He made he was a rookie last year. He started popping off late. Can't even think of his name.
The hot take, Ken. You're saying Jamar Chase made Burrow?
That's what he's saying, but I'm pointing out that he had a hell of a season with Jamar Chase, because Jamar Chase has been injured in recent years as well. And and Burrow has been coming in, putting up numbers. He hasn't been stopped. It didn't look like Tua with Tyreek Hill when Tyreek Hill went down. Joe Burrow still looks like Joe Burrow. He still puts up numbers and touchdowns.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that take before, Kat. So that is an original take. What about this though? If Jamar Chase was unhappy in, I don't know what his contract is, but if he was unhappy, or if he was getting free agency, would you guys full court press for?
I mean, if the contract is,
or are we done with the big splash moves and we want to go more naturally?
I love Jamar Chase. Hell yeah.
See, for me, I don't really want big splashes anymore.
Yeah.
I want us to build more properly through drafted players or good contracts that we bring in.
I want our splash players.
Get it right at
I want our
position.
splash players to be the guys we drafted. I agree. Like if Chris Bell becomes our Jamar Chase.
Because then you're just playing a game of catch up the whole time, like Greer was.
Yeah.
Where we started getting irresponsible contracts with other guys to make up for the splash that we did, and then.
Or when you go out and realize the draft pick you selected is not padding out, and you screw that part up, and then you get desperate to trade for someone at that position and pay them.
And that's why what you were mentioning earlier with the player evaluation and how I brought up there's like 5 different phases of it, draft, free agency, playing people the right way, managing your current roster. All that stuff. Like that's massively important for the future of this franchise. If they could prove to do that correctly, I don't really care what names are at our roster because they'll have built a well-oiled machine.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
We won't need big names. We won't need. You want to
know why it's Jamar
Chase? We'll have the factory. We'll be working.
Pete?
You just need a core.
Yeah, it just takes a good coach and the key leaders at the right positions.
Yep.
And good
and perfectly timed contracts.
Yeah, good.
Don't wait till the
management
fifth year option. No, if Patrick Paul, we need to be in the conversations of talking about extending him right now.
Here it goes, Pete. Here it goes.
Right.
I'm looking through the years. I'm looking through the years. So far, I went through the last 3 years, right? Joe Burrow has only played 1 full year out of the last 3 years. Okay, so Joe Flacco was in for half of the year last year. Jamar Chase had 1,400 yards last year. Joe Burrow only had 1,800 total passing yards because he missed half the season, right? So now I go back to the 2023 season, another season where Joe Burrow missed half the season. Jake Browning had 2,000 yards. Jamar Chase had 1,200 yards. All right, let's go back to 2022, another season where Joe Burrow missed half the season, right? Let's look at the stats here. Oh no, he played. Yeah, Joe Burrow 3 games played. All right, let's look at Jamar Chase's numbers. That was an injured year for him too. He only had 220. Wait, this isn't right. Oh, that's postseason. That's why. Hold on. So this must have been a full year for Joe Burrow. But the point is, like, the numbers for Jamar Chase are the same whether it's Joe Burrow or it's anybody else. Joe Flacco produced the same with Jamar Chase, and Jake Browning produced the same production with Jamar Chase as well. Joe Burrow is just the starting quarterback naturally. So that's why I don't contribute it to Joe Burrow. I contribute it to Jamar Chase. Because if you go and you look at some other teams, when Patrick Mahomes goes down or when Josh Allen goes down, their star receivers take a dip in production. But yet Jamar Chase doesn't seem to take a dip in production when Joe Burrow goes down. All right, you guys can continue now.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just not big on Joe Burrow.
Starting to feel like there's a big, based on what CatndaHat just said, starting to feel like some quarterbacks are going to be retiring and exiting the league. So the switch is happening. The Mendoza era, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix era.
Mr. Polk was
is
talking
upon
about
us.
that. Mr. Polk was talking about that earlier, right? He was talking about some of
Gonna
these
be
guys
these new
you can see
names.
they're in their 8th, 9th, 10th years. Like you could really see the regression starting to happen in them. And we're seeing these young guys going to come up and start being the talk of the town, the new guys on the block.
Yeah, because unfortunately,
pretty soon, no Stafford. Then goes Jared Goff.
Aaron Rodgers
will be exiting soon if the Lions don't find something to replace him. Josh Allen, the Lamar Jacksons, they're gonna be getting out soon. And when I say soon, it's like maybe another 2-3 years. They'll be out the league.
And we can even put Jalen Hurts in that category with him too.
7th year right now.
Yep, Cousins.
He's in the same. He's
still
class
young.
as Joe
2 or 3
Burrow,
more years, he'll still be under 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, still under 30.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. At the end of this year, we could see Rodgers, Flacco. I don't know if Dalton technically retired or not, but Dalton could retire.
I think
Kirk Cousins. Stafford.
Geno Smith.
Russell Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Geno Smith.
I think we got a few more years.
Geno definitely.
He's gonna push it.
Even Dak Prescott's getting up there. He's 32.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is definitely the last year.
Jameis Winston is only 31.
Dak Prescott, he's the stat guy. Dak Prescott, to me, he's a really good quarterback. He's the stat guy. I think his career is definitely over. I think he's just satisfied he passed Tony Romo in career Dallas Cowboys passing yards record.
Because he doesn't take a lot of hits.
He did it last year.
Dallas either,
but he probably feels like he's over.
He could stay pretty upright. He could stay pretty
Yeah, I don't know that.
I think he's got a few more years in him.
Yeah,
Dak is a good quarterback.
He's at like 36,000.
He is a little injury prone.
He could hit the 40,000 club.
You say he's at
with
36
just
right
this
now?
year.
Yeah. How many? He's at what is he at?
So
he's at 35,989. So basically 36,000. Yep, and then he would pass Andy Dalton, and then he'd start to pass Johnny Unitas, Joe Montana,
and
Kerry Collins, Derek Carr.
That's crazy.
Kirk Cousins is up there too. Kirk Cousins is 44,000. So if he ends up playing, like if he ends up throwing for, a few more thousand this year, he could get up to like Frank Tarkenton and where Joe Flacco's at. Like past Carson
Dak
Palmer.
Prescott could definitely. The Hard Rock betting app has Dak Prescott the over under 4,000 yards even. That's his mark.
Imagine passing Vinny Testaverde in yards. Testaverde had like a 20-year career.
The NFL has evolved, man.
Mr. Vinny. Mr. UN.
From going. No, it does. No, it does evolve.
The NFL doesn't evolve. It just It just
evolves
continues.
in the way that the players play their positions. And like I remember back in the
When you say, "Oh, I got you," yeah, players never used to bend as defensive ends back in the days the way they do now.
Nah, it was more raw. It was more raw.
It wasn't that
power.
much
Yeah, it
speed.
was a raw power back in the
Football
day.
back in the days, they value
And
more power.
now it's a mixture of speed and skill.
Yeah. You only had a few.
Yeah.
Because it was definitely more power back in the days. Yeah, you only have few, like receivers and maybe running backs or even defensive back that had that speed. But speed wasn't the biggest thing back in the days. Nope. And then also too, defensive backs had permission to rip your head off, like the Ronnie Locks. And whatever, but they just.
And that's how it should still be. It should be whatever it takes to get you down. Mine is grabbing your face mask. I don't even care. Grab them by the horse collar. Whatever you got to do to bring. You know they complain? Oh, the hip drop tackle. It's getting so soft. Hip drop tackle. Do you not aware? A small corner trying to tackle a big dude? You got to do that. You got to drop your weight on those legs when you hip drop tackle him to bring him down, bro.
Mm. Oh,
and you have to, and those big dudes, they got to be aware. Oh, he gonna hip drop tackle me. If I don't want to get my shin blown out, then you know what? I better go down. Yeah, you can fall. Learn how to fall like Tua, buddy. NFL done got so damn soft you can't even hit. Yeah, most of the time you heard players when I was growing up. I want to take that man's head off.
Mm-hmm.
Players used to want to see somebody else's helmet get knocked off in the game.
That's why I said running live. What was that Raiders play? Because it was a play on the Raiders out like that.
Oh, you got a sensitive little concussion head? You can't handle these helmet-to-helmet hits? Get your ass out this league, soft head.
That's about
I'm
right.
aiming for that head. That's a target. I don't think I'm going to get concussed, and I think you're going to get concussed. So I'm going to hit my head on your head, buddy. What you think? When these guys are in the UFC, they can't headbutt? They don't headbutt. When they fighting and striking, they're headbutting. It's part of the fight. It should be part of the NFL. Pissed off now, Cat.
Yes, sir. The Raiders had two of them, Lester Hayes and Haynes. Good grief. Well, you talking about two dangerous people that take your head off? And then the 49ers had Ronnie Lott. Oh, my goodness. It's some more that would done the same thing, but, yeah.
I want to see more helicopters. John Elway hits.
Hey, don't go down.
I was hoping I could see Tua do one of those too.
Go down that whole page because them helicopter was boy good. I feel that about them today. Oh my goodness.
Man, NFL done got soft. It does get me upset. Everything is a flag. That's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing about Josh Allen I recently known. You know that, fellas? Josh Allen is soft. He's soft. I don't like how he flops.
I agree with that.
I don't like how he flops and he begs for a flag. Tom Brady ain't flop. Tom Brady ain't never flopped. Tom Brady used to get hit, get up, and scream at the referee. Throw me a flag. You missed that? There's a difference between asking for a flag and begging for a flag. And Josh Allen, he begs for and Patrick
he's like
Mahomes
a soccer
too.
player.
A little soft Patrick Mahomes. I'm tired of little Patrick Mahomes. Soft quarterback. These quarterbacks flop, bro. They over here making it seem like, oh, they get pushed. They try to bring the NBA flop over here. Oh, they fell. You want to throw a rough in the pass? You need those 15 yards cheating like that? You're cheating, bro. These idiots are cheating. Aaron Rodgers ain't doing that. Aaron Rodgers is hurrying up his offense to get you. Offense don't wait on defense. Offense don't wait on defense. So Aaron Rodgers is trying to get that 12 man on the line, on the field. He's different. These other ones trying to play the game, trying to confuse the referee. Referee feeling bad for the quarterback as he flopping. Oh, look how he fell. You hit him too hard, sir. Flag on the play.
Pete, as we've seen, a lot of people try to play the victim. That's their style.
Yeah, bro, that's fake, Joe.
It's like soccer.
I like
Watching
that.
the World Cup the last few weeks or the last month was it was hard to watch. I love the concept of the tournament and the international aspect, but it's hard to watch a game where everyone is just flopping and acting like they had a career-ending injury just to look at the ref and see if he's going to blow the whistle or not.
That's lame as hell, bro. That's
It
almost cheating. It's almost cheating. And you know, in the
It's
NFL, they do that
manipulating.
too, right?
It's
Yeah,
manipulation.
Yeah. You heard Stephen A. Smith? These players shouldn't smoke weed no more because it's a performance enhancement drug.
That's not what he said.
That's exactly what he said.
He said performance
It's a
enhancement.
performance 100%. He
I
said
thought he was telling someone to lay off the
he even
weed.
gave an example. He said when a basketball player in game 72 goes up to the free throw line with 2 seconds left, if you're not high, you're going to be nervous. You're going to be not calm. But if you smoke weed calms you down. It makes those nerves go away. So that's why it's considered a performance enhancement
What was he talking about though? Was that Josh Gordon? Do you remember Josh Gordon, the Browns
yeah, I remember
receiver?
Josh Gordon.
I remember Josh Gordon.
Was it about him, or why was he talking? Because remember he had that famous line. He was like, "Lay off the weed" or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I remember the lay off the weed, but he just recently came out with this clip. I saw it on a clip on Twitter. I wish I would have reshared
I haven't
it.
seen him in years.
And Josh Gordon was a freak of nature.
Last off season, I actually spoke to Stephen A. Smith. I called his show. He answered, spoke to him, but I don't know where that. I never heard.
This is my only content for like football besides actually watching the games. I don't watch regular programming anymore. I watch YouTube streams and panels and shit. Like that's how I absorb all of my football news now.
That's why I get mine from. Mainly YouTube or the Dolphin website
I don't even go to the site anymore.
With me, I go there just to look at the roster and what have you, and any Dolphin moves or transaction. That's But other than that, I don't.
Yeah.
ESPN,
no, but as far as like watching someone listening to someone talk, or like watching someone,
talk sports.
Like, yeah, I don't watch ESPN anymore.
I don't watch ESPN, NFL Network. I don't watch them.
Yeah, none of that. It's all YouTube.
Yeah, if I want to watch a game, yeah, I turn them on. But other than that, no, I don't watch it.
Yeah. So when people start talking about like the media and what their takes are, I normally have no idea. I have no idea.
I have to go back and look it up.
It's all stuff that I've seen from the YouTube community, and like maybe I'll Google like odds, or I'll Google the depth chart, but that's about it. I don't consume any other
I'm not a scheduled guy, but I know what you mean, Joe. I tend to I only believe in my take, pretty much.
Like Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith. I don't even know where you would watch those guys. Like I know their names because I'll see stuff on like Instagram sometimes, like a quick clip or on a YouTube short, but I don't even know if that's like what time their shows are, if it's ESPN or not. Like I have no idea.
Well, with me, Joe, and to me, the most accurate information I get about Miami Dolphins and the NFL team is Dolphin YouTube. To me, they're more accurate than the ESPNs and the NFL Network. That's why I stopped watching.
Right.
I only watch NFL Insiders.
Relatable.
Hey man, I live on the beach, man. You'll see me here plenty of times. Yeah, I'm Hispanic. See, American Cuban. Okay, that's a nice jersey, man. You guys enjoy your day.
Yeah.
My bad, guys. I thought I was muted, to be honest with you. Some random guy on the sidewalk just came up to my car talking about he saw me twice already.
Yeah, but I realized that like for the last few years now, I don't take in content like really anywhere else, just in general. It's yeah, anything, not even sports, is like YouTube is kind of the home for that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Joe.
When I hear about all these like firings and stuff with ESPN and like not replacing with people and stuff, it never really shocks me. I'm I'm actually kind of shocked that like there's even people are still even watching it.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, like I don't know. For me, like the action of turning on a TV and like just sitting in front of the TV and watching it is kind of dead. Is like my laptop, or like I'll have my laptop hooked up to a larger monitor
I watch ESPN on Adam Schefter's segment,
on my phone.
but what I
Yeah.
was gonna tell you guys before is I'm not a scheduled guy. Like I don't even be knowing what time their shows start. You know what I mean? I can't. Well, if I catch it and I'm there, I'm watching it. And a lot of the stuff that I like to watch is like what you guys said is on YouTube.
And that's,
ESPN on YouTube, the Adam Schefter Show. NFL Insiders is not on YouTube. It's actually on NFL
and that's right. So
Premium.
smash
So I
that
watch
like
the
and
Insiders
subscribe
because
so you can catch
I
us
mean
for more.
they're
That's
the
fucking
sources
right.
like these guys.
Yeah,
We only
good.
care about
Pete's
YouTube,
takes
man. We
is
only
cool
care about
too.
Cat and the
Pete's
Hat
takes is
and the
cool
Dolphins
too.
community.
He just might get you into some trouble.
We make our own
sometimes.
take. We make our own take.
What's up, Kenna? How you been, man? How you been?
I love it. Y'all love it too.
Yeah, how you doing, Ken?
Same old, man.
Kenna's
How
up
y'all?
here?
Yeah, what
man.
up, Pete?
Kenna, you up here, bro? Where you been at, man?
Yeah. You know, just living life a little bit, you know.
Hell yeah, I love to hear that.
Got away from some things, you know.
Well, glad to see you back
Putting
up here
some
with
things
us.
together. You know how life go.
Yeah.
And you a man, bro. So
Yeah.
I feel like
But we haven't seen you in a
did
minute.
what you
And
know
so
you
I
needed
need to
do,
know.
so.
I need to know where you
That's good
stand.
to hear.
Where are you at for the 2026 season, man? How do you feel like with the moves we made, with the players we got on the team, with the draft and everything? What's your thoughts?
The main thing I'm excited for is change. Like, people don't know change could be so effective on so many levels. And that right there is the main thing that I'm excited for. And some people may say it's the same old thing, but to me, the change is, you know, we finally got some people together. They got a blueprint down of what they want to do and how they want to script things out. And to me, that's more important than anything, because the one guy we had that had a scripture and went by his scripture had success. He just didn't get to finish his blueprint out. Now, these guys already come with a blueprint that has been proven. You know, they just got to put their little twist to it. That's the exciting part right there. That's what I mean by change. And that's what I'm excited for.
There was one guy. Okay.
Say what? Flo. Everybody know. Everybody know it was Flo. He the one came in. He put that TNT wall into effect. When he put that TNT wall into effect, it did the one thing that I always harp about this team needs, and they need discipline.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited about. And the moves that they made, you know, as far as some of these players that, you know, for me, what's more exciting? Getting a player that has a proven name, so therefore you don't know if he's going to come out there and half-ass you, or getting players that need to prove themselves and need to show something, That way, you know, when you look at some football, you looking at players that's giving it all they got because, you know, who the fuck are you?
It goes back to what Pete was talking about earlier about how he's not worried about this wide receiver room, right? And it's like at the same time, like I'm really not worried about the wide receiver room either because Devon Achane even said this in an interview that he had. He's like, bro, if we have 6 guys that are wide receiver 2s, you don't know really who to key in on. So it's like you have a bunch of guys out there just going out there to do their job. You don't have a number 1 guy. So there's really nobody that you can hone in on or game plan for to double team. So therefore you should somewhat be able to go out and do your job efficiently or effectively as that wide receiver.
I mean, yeah, and that's the main thing right there. You know, wanting to see guys step into that number 1 role. And for people that are the type of people that like a finished product, this right here is hard times for them. They can't see no light at the tunnel. So I can understand how some of them people speak the way they speak because, you know, they want a finished product already. They feel like they
the storm.
Them type of people that can't weather the storm.
You must have heard that song I got. You'll have to go check it out.
I ain't heard that.
It's just
what song is that?
Little song I threw together when we drafted our rookies. Anyways, but yeah, no, it's good stuff. We have a lot to look forward to this year as Dolphin fans, like progression in all phases of football, all the way from coaching to down to our third string players, because there's gonna be times this year that we're probably gonna see everybody get some time on the field for evaluating.
And that's a fact.
And I'm hoping we use them properly. I was saying this, there's a lot of people out there that are like talking about Will Kazmarek getting the start in this offense. And it's like, okay, I can see that argument, but on where I stand with that, instead of throwing Will Kazmarek in there to be a blocker, we should have packages where it's Ollie Gordon in there, right? So you have Devon Achane and you have Ollie Gordon in the backfield, and Ollie Gordon is in there just to provide blocking, but you're also putting him in there so that when you want him to run, he's not coming out off of the sideline, giving the defense a pretty much tell, saying, hey, this is a 3rd and 1 run with Ollie Gordon, because he was already in there for 1st and 2nd down. He was just providing blocking instead of Will Kazmarek. You know what I'm saying? He was that 6th lineman instead of Will Kazmarek, except he was lined up in the fullback role. Or maybe he's lined up in the running back role, and Devon Achane is in like a 3 set to the right of the quarterback as a wide receiver. You know what I mean? Things like that. So it's like I am looking for Ollie Gordon to make a big jump this year, but I'm really hoping that Bobby Slowick uses him properly, or else it's not going to do us any good.
Yeah, that's for real.
Yeah, and I was just saying that from a standpoint of, you know, I'm not saying Achane can't, you know, shoulder the load as many touches that he's going to get in between the lines. That means in that A and B gap. And you know, I just know it'll vote well if we're able to put Ollie Gordon in that backfield and, you know, I guess preserve Achane a little longer. Like, I mean, I'm all with preserving your players for when you need them most. So, you know, I'm excited to see how he's going to use these fellas. You know, even Jalen Wright still. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see if he's going to come back and show that, you know, he can hold on to the ball, because he did have 2 fumbles in one game, and that ain't a good look. But, you know, it's just a clean slate for some of these players to get a a chance at something that I guess, and they've been in this system for what, a good 3 years now. So I just think the little nuances with slow it offense it probably was gonna slow things up a little bit. So yeah, man, it's gonna be good to see,
But I also think that there
guys
was
out
another
there
key
wanting
thing
to
that you
earn their
said
money for a change.
about Hafley and the coaching and the discipline, because we've already seen signs of Hafley's coaching involves a lot of discipline and a lot of accountability, and we've seen that in a couple of the pressers where they've talked about how he'll play film and it before practices and point out like players that aren't doing certain things, like they're out of position or they're doing this wrong or they're doing that wrong, and he'll call these players out in front of everybody, right? Whether that's good or bad, in certain instances you can look at it, it's neither here nor there, but at the same time, like it's a driving factor for these players to not want to be one of the names called in the pre-draft or in the pre-practice meetings. And we saw Ollie Gordon respond to that. He's like, I don't want to be one of those guys. He's like, I don't want my name called in these pre-practice meetings, etc. So it's like, that's just small little signs of us seeing the discipline and the change in the culture and the more hard-nosed coaching in effect.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, people say hard nosed, and I understand it, but it's just more, to me, it's more that word accountability. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? If we're able to hold each other accountable, and you can get a lot of positive things out of that. And that's what John and Hafley. That's what them two understand. Like I said before, weather the storm. Them two, they can weather a storm. They done had to before. You know, that's that's the type of relationship you see happens when you get two people that can weather the storm together. Not to say that they homo or anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Go ask grandma.
So I think we're gonna see, there's gonna be more of a organized team that I think Miami fans have seen in years. You know what I'm saying? When we look at our team, I feel like we're gonna be able to
Definitely. And
say the front offices know what they're doing.
My kids got dropped off, so they rolled in. So it's going to be time for daddy duty. So I'm going to have to go ahead and I'm going to have to wrap this up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why whether you're saying the Miami Dolphins are going to go 4-13 or 10-7 and make the playoffs in 2026, at the end of the day, the long-term goal for the Miami Dolphins is sustained success. We want to be a team that is relevant and fighting and in the playoffs, and we want to play good football, fun, watchable football for years to come. We want
Stop that mentality. This is not the old NFL, Cat.
A
Stop
year
that
to
mentality.
year league.
This is a year-to-year league now.
And that's not
it's
what the
no
Dolphins
longer
are building
you're
right
gonna
now. They're
have.
not building a.
It's
They're
a
not.
year-to-year
We're not
league.
building a
Yes.
team that's gonna
Yes.
win the Super Bowl. No, but
there's no such thing as building like the 70s no more.
And
where you're
Hafley
gonna keep
are gonna
there's
show
free
you
agency now.
right now.
There's contracts.
They're
Like back
building
then,
a
you used to
dynasty.
play players
We're
and
building a
ticket
dynasty.
They want to
stubs,
build
bro.
a dynasty, Pete. They want to
But
build
see-
a dynasty.
The only way to build a dynasty
might
is
have
by
done that.
hitting on
And
the
that's
right
what this year is
quarterback and
about,
coach.
Pete. That's what this
Those are
year
the
is
two
about.
dynamics.
It's about finding
Pete, what
out
you-
if we did exactly what you just said. Did we hit on our coach and did we hit on our quarterback? And that's what this year is about. It doesn't matter if we finish 4-13 or if we finish 10-7, because at the end of the day, it's all about finding out what these players that are on our team currently can bring to the table for years to come. because we're building a dynasty. That's what the Miami Dolphins are heading for the future. That's why we need to stop arguing with each other, and we need to just realize, like, let's have fun for the 2026 season. Let's not put any pressure on our shoulders. Let's just go into it and have fun and enjoy the football year. And if we win, and if we do go to the playoffs, oh my fucking God, we can all celebrate, and I will throw the biggest party in the fucking world. I promise you. I have a big inflatable television that we can set up and stuff. I promise you. I fucking promise you. But at the end of the day,
that's the problem. That's
look,
the problem. The
look,
fan
I'm gonna
base
say
needs
this.
to do their
Let me say
job.
this.
Negative guys like Joe, keep
Let-
being negative because you're putting pressure on this organization. Don't be like Cat in the Hat, accepting it, thinking this is what it's gonna be for a 5-year build because by the time you know it, we didn't build crap. This whole regime was crap, and we wasted 5 years of nothing.
Well,
What about me?
well, the way we won't be able to dictate that is their capability of taking advantage of the situations. See, Pete, what you explaining by year-to-year teams is you taking a team that understands how to build a team, but you pointing out that there are moves that they're able to take advantage of certain situations. That's why it looked like year to year they're building it differently when really they're just fine tuning what they're already built. So it is about building a dynasty. It's just having the capability of taking advantage of certain moments. And that's what I believe we got in the office.
Okay.
hey, no problem.
CatndaHat, thanks
Hey,
for
no
having
problem,
us up,
guys.
man.
I appreciate.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks,
sir.
Cat. Go
Appreciate all
ahead.
of
Happy
y'all
we're live
coming
today.
up here.
Glad
Go
to
For
ahead,
catch
y'all
you
spend
out
live.
there in the chat,
Yes,
don't forget
man.
hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got some new AFC Eastie Boys merch in the Macari shop. The link is in the profile page. If you want to go check it out, go check it out. We're gonna have. I'm working on some new stuff as well. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, to get up here with all these fine ladies and gentlemen, hit the Discord link, join the Discord, send me a DM. That way I can get you access to the channel, to the page. You can get up here, you could talk football as well. But yeah, I mean the Miami Dolphins, whether you're on the side of winning, whether you're on the side of losing, I think we're all have the same mindset. I think we're all on the same page here. We just want a team that we can be proud of and that we can cheer for confidently from week to week, man. We're tired of this bullshit. We're tired of the mediocrity. We're tired of just getting by, man. So I believe Sully, I believe Hafley, I believe they're building a team that is going to be sustainable for the future. You heard it up here today. You heard both sides of the coin. There's definitely division within the locker room. There's definitely I wouldn't say division within the locker room. I apologize. That's wrong. That's not accurate. There's division within the fan base. You heard it today. It's there. But we're arguing the same thing. We're both sides are making the same argument to get their point across. At the end of the day, 2026, it's all about evaluation. It's all about figuring out what we got in these guys and moving forward with that. Am I saying that we can't win in 2026? No. Dude, we definitely could. We pointed out some reasons. We pointed out a couple reasons today. San Francisco game might have just got a little bit easier. Green Bay game could win that based on circumstance. There's a lot of reasons why we could win. There's a lot of reasons why we couldn't win. It's all about evaluating. Whether we win or we lose these games, it's all about evaluating. Because the long-term goal of this team, the long-term goal that Sully and Hafley have is a dynasty. sustained success for years upon years upon years upon years. We don't want one Super Bowl. We don't want 2 Super Bowls. Let's go for the 3-peat. Let the Dolphins go for the 3-peat. If we do it properly and we trust the process, it can happen. It can fucking happen. Alright, I appreciate everybody that rolled through. Like I said, rolled through on the Discord. We appreciate all them boys. If you haven't already, go check out Pete's Takes. Check out Only the Real Survive. Obviously hit the like, subscribe over here as well. Helps us out, puts us in the algorithm if you haven't already. Check out the Discord. Check out the Macari shop. Like I said, we got AFC Eastie Boys products got in the shop. We also got a whole bunch of other new stuff in the Macari shop as well. We're gonna have DCC rolling back around soon, so be on the lookout for that. And then tomorrow we're gonna be doing our full 32 team schedule prediction for the NFL for the 2026 season. We're gonna be doing that live tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for that. Until next time, I appreciate everybody. It's your boy CatndaHat. Let's say fins up and peace out.